I think that's the end of it, and maybe I'll share this out when somebody else is talking because we got a 1, we got a 2,
Dos.
and we got Mr. Deets coming in here
Hey,
today.
yeah, baby, we back again.
What up, everybody? And that's a welcome back to the Truther Cast because it is the home of the Truther Cast because we are here to take your truth order, folks, and hopefully the truth order has something to do with the microphones being better. I don't know. It looks like I might be echoing again, and I thought we had this all freaking figured out before we started the show, which is why we're late. But thank you for joining here today. If you are not familiar with the show, we are attempting to not just be, two more dudes complaining on the internet, 3 when we got a guest in studio here. But, we got a shtick here at the Truther Cast. So make sure to go over to thetruthercast.com where we have a recommended alt news creators list so that, we can help you or other people, build a better news feed because that's what we're all about here, folks. Getting the awareness, finding the realization, and building that better news feed. If you are familiar with the show, thank you so much for coming back yet again to the weekly show. And it's more fun when you're here for the weekly show because then you get to hang out in the live chat with us because we want to know what you think was, interesting from last week, what needs a little bit more awareness, what the lamestream media might be, leaving out entirely and not telling us, so lying through obfuscation, or just bold, shit-faced lying to us, folks. So make sure, if you are hanging out with us, new or returning, make sure to drop your chats in the live chat here. If you're coming back on the replay, hit us with a comment. But, we love hearing what you think was important so we can make sure to go over that one and bring some realization to it. Right, guys?
That's right.
Realization brings that. Oh, wait. Nope. I said it backwards. Awareness brings that realization.
There you go. There you go.
I haven't said that a few times already, for the podcast. That was my first time, folks, ever saying it, ever,
At least he always knows how to make sure that, our viewers aren't hoes or anything.
Don't be a hoe. Share the show. Mr. T's back this week, baby. Yeah. Because we got balls back in our office. All right.
And that's the free way to help out around here, folks. So, like if you got a friend, family, or, foe that you think might get a kick out of the show, make sure to share it over to them.
Yeah, you don't got to be a hoe. I mean, we really advise you don't be a hoe. You just share the show. Better for everybody.
Oh, my God. Does Tony Fauci recommend getting a jab to not be a hoe?
If you don't want to be a hoe, get the shot. You will definitely, most likely, not be a hoe.
But he said after you do go with the hoe, you might need a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Post-ho. You might need a shot, though.
That's possible.
And even that one, I might need that shot, too. So, it all depends on.
Good old Tony Fauci, right? I don't think we have too much Tony Fauci news from last week.
Yeah.
No, he got pardoned, so he's
Tony's
good. He's
disappearing. I'm gonna be off on my way, I didn't do shit wrong, but I'm gonna sayonara off to someplace nice and warm, probably, because I have so much dang money. I'm the highest paid government employee up until recently.
Yeah, that blows my mind.
Oh, it probably still is.
Made more than the United States president.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No.
I mean, health is important,
What?
and doctors generally was known as they make more money than anybody else, but
Besides lawyers when they're trying to scheme you.
Bro, it's like 2025. How does
Or
the president
good
of the United
lawyers.
States not make a mill, dude?
What do you mean? Donald Trump only makes $1.
oh man, for real? No, honestly,
Probably
that
get paid
is an
like a
interesting
mill.
thing
No.
because somebody sent me a link and it was a Facebook where it was like in a group I wasn't a part of, and so I had to go do the questionnaire thing. And part of the questions in the questionnaire was your net worth, and it was 0 to 10, or it was like I think 0 to 5. It was like really minuscule, and then it was like 5 to 10, and then it was just like 10 to 100K, and next and after that it was 100K to a million, and it said millionaire after that, like, because they had like classifications of what they called each. I don't remember what the other ones, other than millionaire. That was the one that obviously stuck in my head the most. It was 100 to a million. Like, I mean, technically, it's like under a million, but apparently, if you have 100 grand to a million, you're a millionaire. That's as long as you're over 100 grand. Apparently, you're a millionaire in that category.
If you're making less than a million,
you're not
probably
a millionaire.
not saving it up enough to be a millionaire.
Yeah, right. But apparently, they still
possible.
in places they're still classifying that as a millionaire.
I did hear a conversation about that though. That should they pay Congress and the president more money than what they're paying? Because they say, well, they squander their money or they take bribes from this and that. So if you gave the president $1 million instead of the $400,000, maybe he ain't gotta go and send his son over to Ukraine or China and Russia.
Except if we
Bro, that's what I bring up on the show.
This is a real thing.
Yeah.
And they say same thing with Congress. You got all these congressmen. You give them. I don't know what Congress gets paid, but whatever they get paid, that they ended up taking these side bribes, getting paid from under the table for this or that.
Yep.
And if you gave them more money, that maybe it'd be harder to bribe them. But then, money's the root of all evil.
It's tricky, 'cause then they
And
just
no,
get
it's
more
the root of
greedy or
any
something,
evil.
like-
So then, if they're gonna accept money from anybody,
Yeah.
what's the difference from $10,000 to $50,000,
Right.
or $50,000 now to $100,000?
Right.
Up to $1 million. You know what I mean? What is your soul worth and your morals worth at the end of the day?
Yep.
If you're gonna sell your soul for $50 on the corner, or if you're gonna sell it for $10,000,
Yeah. Right.
it's all up to the people that get elected and stuff like that. But there has been that talk that if you did pay the people more, or if you get somebody who's like Trump, who already has their own money, they're just gonna come flush their pockets even some more. So why would we even let rich people into the government? Well, why do you let poor people in? Because they're poor now. They need some money. So there's good and bad ways to look at that. So
I agree, dude. I bring that one
definite
up
pros
with you.
and cons.
yeah.
But I mean, we could pay them more, but even if you look at what they're worth from when they join office to then when they're out of office, I don't think paying them more would do anything, because the amount of money they have made is way more than, if they were making even $1 million a year instead of the 400 or 450,000. That's the presidential salary.
President gets a 400,000.
Because if we look at Biden's net worth before he was in office and after, he definitely made a lot more than let's say we even combine him being vice
He's been in
president
public
with Obama
service
back
since
in the
he was
day.
like 18
Yeah,
or
and
whatever, his entire life.
What do you mean, bro? He made a book. That's why he's insanely wealthy all of a sudden.
Forget that is the hack. Yes, if you have a book, it will just it will be on the New York bestsellers, New York Times bestseller list, and then all of a sudden just boom, that's it. You're done. You're good for the rest of your life. And it just what I never got growing up was like, oh, how often do they have that? Monthly, weekly? Is it just how many if you sold a certain amount of copies? Because there's just it seems like that's almost on every book you come across. You're like, oh, look, New York Times bestseller. You pick up the book right next to it. Oh, look, it's a New York Times bestseller. And you go all the way down.
Bernie Sanders,
Times bestseller.
the big communist here.
That's how he became a billionaire and left the whole millionaire status. Is he wrote a whole bunch of books. That's how he did it.
I mean, you got to
makes sense.
That was the thing with my millionaire comment from
write
before.
for him.
That was kind of my thing with the millionaire thing from before. Like, wait, so I'm classified as a millionaire in here? Well, I thought I'd be okay with that growing up. And if that's what it is with how my life's been, we got to go a lot higher than that, because it ain't cutting it.
least in this economy.
Straight up.
It's like, wow, I guess I really do got to shoot for the B's and not just the M's because they aren't enough.
Yep, that's for sure. But you know, a good thing to keep in mind is that if you want to help keep the lights on the show, keep the lights here on the show going, folks, is to check out that signup.toleratetech.com down below, and I'll help you out with your computer. So check that out after the show, and that is a real good way to have a like-minded tech guy help you out with all your computer stuff. But you know, also we can chew the fat about the weekly information, because now we're gonna switch on over here to the Locals community. If you're not familiar, folks, Locals is a sweet place where it is not censored by the deep state. Oh yeah, we went over that one last week, I think.
What
They had a
was that?
suppressor rule too this week.
Yeah, they've had a lot of rules going back and forth. Well, not even really back and forth, just kind of going good for us in the 2A sector, which will
Right?
probably get even stronger because I forget not Harry Sisson, but another guy that's young like him. That's apparently one of the Democratic big picks to hopefully, get people back on their agenda. But he's a giant gun grabber for the most part. Like, he hates the Second Amendment and wants to basically abolish it. So
Good luck with that one.
that was not the right move, if I would say so myself. Man, I might be a little biased on that, but yeah, that's you're not going to grab a whole lot of people's attention. Well, I mean, you will probably strongly grab some people's attention, but it's like such a minute percent. It's not going to get you the win. And unfortunately, there is still a competition, even though it should just be the battle of just whatever's the best policy, but it's more just like a battle of class president or prom king and queen. That's almost kind of what our president stuff has gotten to, or has been for a little bit now, especially ever since lobbying became legalized, because then you can just
Pay to play, baby. Pay to play.
and give a little nudge.
That is just kind of how life works, I guess, a little bit.
Well, in any situation and everywhere,
Yeah, you can't really get away from it. It's going to come into life at one point, either dollars or trading or physical pressure, because humans got a whole lot of variables to them. And that's the most difficult part about coming up with a law, and like a set of laws, more like, aka a constitution, that can actually bring us forward and in a civil way for as long as possible, and having that as just the standard basis of rules. And if they work for so long, generally you don't want to just start changing them up. But as current times, they want to change that all up when we have been the best country in the world for quite some time, and they want to, hey, it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I mean, technically we're broke on paper, since
Well, speaking of broke,
certain people have been running or abusing our monetary system for a long time.
and abusing the media apparatus, because this is absolutely broke, man. When like ABC, CBS, NBC spent 46 minutes covering Trump J6 pardons, but 3 minutes on Biden pardoning his entire family. It's totally broken.
Yeah. How biased is that? When there's some real reason that you should pardon political prosecution people that've been sitting in cells all by themselves for over 4 years for mindless, hardly nothing crimes, and Biden goes and pardons the entire family, and everybody did actually prosecute through J6, and everybody was involved with that. And why would you go and pardon all these people when they haven't even been committed of a crime? So they did something before. That's not good. And why would you ever go pardon your family members? That means
They're guilty.
something is not right in your mob family there, Mr. Mob Boss. But what happens is the mob boss forgot to pardon himself. So we can always figure out what that happens down the road. But as they said with his documents case, he can't hold trial because he's half brain dead.
That, or we also could suspect that he knows some information
What is he gonna
about
know? He's brain
himself.
dead.
Just like how they kind of.
You know the flavor of the ice cream
remember
is
when
today?
he was not really happy that he actually got kicked out of the race? Like because they said he was saying like I'm gonna run.
He also
And then
doesn't
all of
know
a
he
sudden
shut
he
down
didn't.
the
That's
gas
because the
pipeline
people-
in Louisiana too.
Yeah. Well,
so.
the people who control him,
No
they
one controls
may
him anymore.
have some plans for him, coming up because it was in some conspiracy legends it was supposed to have already happened. So Kamala would have then had to use emergency powers, this and that. So
All right.
I mean,
I don't think they're gonna do
the only
anything
way
with him now.
the only
He's
way they could shut him up or him not speak is, they might have plans for him, and he might basically know, since he's so deep into the shills of everybody, that maybe he knows like his days are numbered, and so he's just like, yeah, I'm just here enjoying my last bits that I can, remember, where's the
really
where's the
seems
chocolate
that
chip
way.
ice cream at? I'd like at least another one, hopefully. Maybe that's why he likes it so much, because he knows his days are
he
numbered.
was all
If
friendly,
I knew-
friendly with him.
if I knew I only had so many days, I mean, I would probably be eating as much ice cream as I could too. But I don't eat a lot of ice cream now because I figure I'm trying to extend my days out as far as possible.
It's just old person brain, bro. So you get older, you get tireder, you
Yeah.
get weaker, blah
My-
blah blah. So
Or they know something.
I forgot
so
it all. There's nothing to know.
I'd say it's a pretty good idea to hire
It's the
back
subconscious.
all the people who like to think freely for themselves, or probably a little bit of your more higher functioning kind of people. And so Trump's trying to hire back 8,000 plus of these military vets that were active duty when they were either fired or resigned because of the forcing of the COVID vaccine. I really think that's a high percentage, the high achieving.
I think that's a very good thing because you shouldn't be forced to take the vaccine that they were given to people, especially with how many people that we talked before on the show about how many people got hurt and this and that. And it's I mean, in the military, you're made to do multiple shots. There've been shots for years and
Right.
years. My dad, when he went to
Especially if
Iraq,
you're-
you had to get 120 some shots. You go
Yeah.
one day and you get 60 shots, and
that's whack.
no, I mean it. And so they try to give
Wow.
you some wacky ass shot out of
Right.
nowhere for COVID. And because I say I'm
Look,
not gonna take
I
it,
took the other 160, bro. Can
but
we
I'm,
just like?
I'm not taking this one. But the way they pushed it on everybody and they're trying to do it, it came out real weird. And that's what everybody even says now, that maybe they were forced into it. Nobody wants to be forced into anything, and especially when it was like that. And they definitely need to have those people hired back and back pay and everything else, because even with hospital jobs, people were getting fired at hospital jobs and everywhere else too.
Right.
And you can't just be going around forcing people to do stuff. This is America,
And-
that is apparently it wasn't illegal, but it's definitely immoral and it's definitely communist.
And I personally know a nurse that ended up taking it so she could keep her job because she made like really good money, and she definitely has cancer spreading all over her body.
Yeah.
And it's now continually going back and forth to the doctor.
Yeah.
And it's like, God bless, dude.
It's almost like
No, but they always tried to say he didn't care about the soldiers and this and that. He's probably one of the most patriotic presidents we've ever had. God-fearing, God-loving, patriotic presidents.
All right.
No, patriotic presidents
that's
we've
the-
ever had.
The conservative conformity that everybody wanted to get away from, and then it seemed like a bad idea,
No, he's hands down. Yeah, definitely one of the best ones.
I would
our
agree.
flag has left the chat.
It's
But
But yeah, you talking about cancer makes me think of it's probably just part of the plan. Jabs were a thing, cancer became a thing. Doctors, specific 6, wanted to say something about it. They were on these one of those things that like floats through the sky and then generally don't come out of the sky, but there's been a lot of crap in the recent years and a lot of them been falling out of the sky just like recently, except that one was not exactly, it fell out of the sky, but it was because it ran into something. The other ones just fall out of the sky for the most part. But we're talking about the Brazil flight that had at least 6 cancer researchers that just
Like you remember
kind of
that.
went poof right over Brazil. And
Yeah.
I want to know who's on the plane that was over the what's it called, the
DC was on
Potomac.
the icy. They're all ice skaters. They're nobodies. They're just Olympic skaters.
That's what we think so far.
That's what we've been told so far.
And then the one in Philly was just like a medvac airplane from
Yeah, from Mexico.
yeah,
It was like
Mexico.
the Shriners Children's Hospital private jet plane.
Right? Like it just had medical supplies on it or something
No,
like that.
one kid going flying back to Mexico.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
Other than the
it was
pilot?
yeah, it was the pilot, the mother of the child. So Shriners is something really good to support. They do a lot of stuff for cancer patients, for
Okay.
children's. It's
It
a children's
seems-
hospital.
Seems above
Um,
board.
No, yeah, the Shriners. We got a Shriners in Rockford
Okay.
here too, but they do real good things for like child cancer and children diseases and stuff like that. So, but they had a good Shriners Hospital, I guess, in that Philadelphia area or whatever, and it was gonna fly the kid back down to Mexico. It's like a private jet that they were on, and yeah, whatever happened. I mean, I don't know. I never heard anything more. You guys hear anything more? The plane came out of the sky.
I never heard anything.
Looked like it blew up in the air, and it came flying down like a rocket.
I know. I mean,
Well,
that's how things
generally
fall out
how
of
they-
the
No,
generally
no,
how they
no,
go
no,
down.
sky.
No, they don't come flying down on fire.
Well, it
like a
was on
rocket.
fire ahead of time, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever, the engine blew up or something.
But people are all
Um,
like, it's flying like a missile. And it's like, well, it's like a fuselage.
Oh,
like...
that's what people are suspecting might have been an ICBM.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Now I know what y'all are talking about. 'Cause, yeah, they're talking about it looking like a missile. Yep.
Yeah, it was just like, pew.
Yeah.
And then it did put a hole in the ground. I mean,
Yeah. So
things
that,
that explode
that,
put holes in the ground.
that's why, yeah, there's a lot of allegedness that it was an ICBM, and basically, at that point, if it was, they are just either going to fabricate a story or come up with something that they could more easily get us to believe that's not an ICBM, because if that was an actual enemy ICBM that hit in our territory, obviously we wouldn't want that to be news anywhere, because that would show that we are slightly vulnerable. We're supposed to be the best, have the best protection, defenses. Because guess what? That wouldn't happen in Israel. With our tech that we built and gave to Israel,
Well,
that
then-
doesn't happen there, but all of a sudden it's going to happen here.
I don't know if you heard, but I signed an executive order that we are going to build our own Iron Dome because Israel has one. Why don't we have one, folks? I seen what it does over there.
Yeah, yeah. And if that was an ICBM, that would not have happened. But also, there would be more questions asked. More than likely, I mean, hey, I guess you couldn't really rule that one a certain way, because one, generally the Russian missiles suck, allegedly, is what I've heard. Because
Even though
during
they claim they're the only ones with hypersonic capability.
well, I mean, well,
We got
that's one
hypersonic
thing.
missiles too,
Hey,
and so
hey,
does China.
Hey,
we all have them.
hey,
Yeah.
it say if you're on the broadside of a barn and I throw a bowling ball, but it hits you, but I shoot a missile at you and it doesn't even hit the broadside of the barn. What's good with how fast it goes? It's if it hits. And so that's why they generally suck. They don't hit their target. If it doesn't hit their target, it doesn't matter how fast it
But-
goes.
Yeah.
It's useless.
The thing about supersonic missiles is that you can't shoot them down. They're too fast for
Unless you have direct
other things
energy defense weapons.
those. Are the only ways now that you can shoot them down.
Lasers.
That's
or
the
you
only thing.
track the cell phone very well. This one's kind of like preaching to the choir a little bit, but I think it's a good example of how the locals.massdash.com, when you click that link in the description box down below to come hang out with us, it's a great treasure trove of receipts because, everyone's trying to say that, Trump's wielding his tyrannical presidential executive powers, to kind of like usurp power and jump around, the hoops or whatever.
Be a dictator.
But I think this is a really nice reminder from what's this one, Insurrection Barbie. It's a really good reminder of what actual like dictator or tyrannical like things look like, because the Harris Biden administration extended the eviction moratorium after COVID by abusing their emergency powers at the expense of the private property rights. I remember how many like landlords were really upset about that one back in the day. Like that
I-
was pretty ridiculous,
I
right?
actually rent a few houses out, and I thought that was really ridiculous too.
That you were
Uh,
affected.
Well, I wasn't. I got actually good tenants.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
God for that. But the biggest thing was in New York and some of these bigger cities in Chicago where they have decent amount of size rent, $2,000 plus. Or and tenants that are not always the best tenants, especially in some of these bigger buildings and apartments and stuff like that, that they would not pay. And then what are the landlords supposed to do? Just take that and eat it
Right. Dude.
forever or what? And
You know you're not getting back pay.
no,
God bless.
and that's in bigger apartments. Maybe they can handle it or something like this and that. But as a small landlord, I own 2 houses. And my mom does 4 houses. But if we couldn't keep up with 1 or 2, you know what I mean? You could end up going back and losing a house or something crazy because that tenant isn't paying. You know. Most people who do rent smaller houses and stuff like that don't really have a whole bunch of money to float.
Oh gosh.
You know what I mean? No, I'm just saying.
That's where I was
So
another
they're
like
paying these
kill
other
the small-
houses off.
kill the small business of renters.
And that's what it
you
did.
know?
And that's what it was. It killed the small business renters that are running 3 or 5 houses, 10 houses. Even you get 2 or 3 that aren't paying at all, or even more than that, then how are you going to afford to pay all these mortgages? And then what? You can't pay the mortgages, so then you're going, under foreclosure, and you're going to lose your houses too. And then, and that's where the big thing came up with the squatters, and they just,
Right.
oh, we're squatting, and they stay here, and the police and everybody else come and evict them, and squatters, people get rights. You've been here for over 30 days, and you can stay here still.
Right.
Oh, you got family or this and that, and there's rules for that, and that's really bullshit. Like, this is my private property, not theirs. They have no rights to be here besides that I let them be here.
Yep.
Get them out of here because it's my property. Goodbye.
Yep.
That's the way I would feel. You ain't paying your go, you don't get
Amen.
to stay. That's common sense. But in those big cities like Chicago and Democrats, they were fucking the landlord over, pardon my French here, for, thinking that they're going to get
Drop the
something.
F-bomb of the show. God. The administration was also issuing vaccine mandates for workers because of, their patience running out. The Constitution, shows a bunch of legislative branch the powers to pass laws, but, the Biden-Harris administration was not able to cancel student loan debts and all of that kind of stuff, right? Violation of our First Amendment. They tried to enact a disinformation governing board to censor your free speech. And it's like a list of this, folks. So this is a good one to pull up if you're still trying to have some kind of an argument with somebody that's still delusional and trying to push back on, the reality of everything getting much better already, only like 2 weeks into a Trump presidency. And, if they're trying to be like, Trump's a terrible dictator, go ahead and, pull this one up in the locals right here. All you got to do is, search for Trump or executive powers, and then you can pull this list up and share it right over to them because it's just a long laundry list of, Biden and Harris being kind of full dictators, man. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yep, it's almost like the pot calling the kettle black.
Right.
Always has been.
Ooh, what's this?
Yeah, sure, a lot of illegal activities being discovered and shut down just a few days into a functioning administration, bro. The feds uncovered $200 million of smuggling operation tied to China using the ports of L.A.
Oh, my God. I didn't know about that. Look at all those containers. Hey, don't worry about what's in here.
Now, what's really terrible...
I almost wonder if...
Is there Chinese children in there, chill?
So there's a bunch of reports of people hearing children in a lot of these containers.
I've heard they do that
In general, right?
I'd be willing to bet
there was
the LA fires
and I've seen enough
were
movies where
also possibly a distraction for something. Hoping they
That's what
wouldn't
we always
find
say,
it.
right?
Yeah, I think that too. But there's always some other crap going on too. But that could be a very big thing. And if they did find that, yeah, that's really sad.
It's not just about the illegal goods. It's about the security of our nation's ports and the people who depend on them. I mean, like, amen, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, Brock, what's Hillary Clinton's Secret Service code name? Hillary Clinton's Secret Service code name was Evergreen.
Oh my
Totally a coinky dink. It's got Evergreen on all of these shipping containers for this smuggling operation out of LA in this image here.
Is that like the same thing as Pizzagate?
I was gonna say it seems like they like to choose
Hot
words that are
dogs or pizza?
slightly near what it is, but just a little bit off, so they can at least have their little giggle while they talk about it.
While
knowing
we're in
what they do.
California, I heard in that what was it, that press conference Trump had today, that Trump strong-armed California into opening up all the levers for all the water to flow through all California.
Yep.
And he said, I don't like what I had to do, but I was not nice. And I don't like, and I'm not happy that I had to be mean like I had to be, but I had to be kind of mean. And
I had to be mean to get the job done. Sometimes you gotta be mean.
But I told them 6 years ago they should have done it, and they didn't listen to me.
Hey,
So
sometimes you think
it's
your
done
dad's-
now. And guess what? I talked to Gavin Newsom. Now I was always gonna call him Gavin New Scum, but I'm being nice right now because he thought it was very nice, and he said he appreciated it. Well, sorry to the little fish. You're gonna have to swim somewhere else. But guess what? Next
Poor
couple years,
fish.
yeah, poor small fish. But guess what? No more fires. So there we go.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have
I mean-
water in your crops now, so you're gonna have farms here in America again, once again,
No,
in California.
yeah, we'll actually get some wine and some.
Yeah, some good California
There's definitely
wine.
been no shortage of weed out of California. That's the main
There's
one.
no smuggling and all that too.
And that's probably because the cartel was up there just turning the knob so they could have their stuff watered like Trump did. Because they aren't like Newsom, like just trying to direct the water away so possibly everything can burn up like it was almost definitely a for sure plan.
Right.
They just don't ask, hence with the border. They just do what the cartel does. And so they've been watering their weed fields. And
Well,
did you guys know that? Most of California's farmland is actually
I want to know what
just
he's doing.
taken over by the cartels. They just forcefully take over fields, and they have so much might and like military type weaponry where the local law enforcement, it's not like at their pay grade.
No,
The
they
SWAT
can't do
team's
nothing
like,
against it.
what am I supposed to do? Like we only got this much gear, and well, more like jurisdiction wise too.
Right.
They can't just go in there and do the
Torch
thing.
'em all.
Like, yeah, so they a lot of, it's not just avocados that they run through California. They run
why
a
I'm
whole
shocked.
lot of weed fields.
That's where I'm shocked
And-
we don't have more hearing about like our military tools being utilized on
I-
domestic things like that. Like, what's up with like drone operations or, some kind of
Well,
actual like military.
Dude, did you hear
serious
shit
shit
that
to stop
about
it.
the cartels got authorization to use drones with explosive bits on
to
them
try and
now.
drop them on the border agents and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah, it's about to be, I feel like, a little spicy.
Yeah.
Well, it already has been a little
Wow.
spicy because cartel already shot at military and
Right.
border patrol down
they're
there
gonna
at
have
the
to run
river.
and find out. But Trump was gonna put those tariffs in on Canada and Mexico. He went and talked to Claudia today, and I guess he's gonna hold off on the tariffs just a little bit on Mexico, because Claudia decided she's gonna send 10,000 of her army up to our border and stick them there.
Yep.
For the potential future
So
until
he postponed it only 30 days currently.
yeah.
So
Well,
he's gonna keep the pressure on. It's not like he turned them off.
no,
right?
no, he didn't turn them
He's
off.
gonna push him back 30 days.
But
That's
we'll
all.
put yours off. What about Canada's? Oh, Canada's is still on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what if you got a meeting with them later? Are you gonna maybe take it off? What can they do? No, theirs is on
Yeah,
for now.
Yeah,
They-
and the excuse,
They can become a 51 state, or they can be on.
and
so.
everybody's all up in arms about Canada getting tariffs. They're like, "What Canada do? What Canada like? There's nothing."
Canada
There's
does
people
not
coming
make
across the
anything.
border up there, just like down south. There are breaks in the border. They are smuggling people. They are smuggling fentanyl. And the great thing is Meet the Press. Whoever the host of Meet the Press is, one of the longest
Yeah.
showing,
Yeah.
like political shows covering like whatever is happening politically for the most part. Her bright idea was, why do we need to punish Canada? It's a minuscule amount of fentanyl coming across the border from up there.
No, actually, I heard that
Okay,
they
so
do more.
like
Any bad.
Hey, what? It just a little bit fentanyl? No biggie. Like we don't
Yeah.
need to worry about that. No, you dipshit. If
Actually-
there's even some, that means
Today I heard
that's
that
not.
it's
I'd rather
more.
have just
Hold on.
if fentanyl's coming, that means the bad people behind the fentanyl are coming.
Yeah.
There's bad
Right.
people behind fentanyl. We're not worried about the toilet scrubbers and the lawnmowers and all that, as that one woman racistly said on The View about Trump, about him deporting them.
Right.
So,
I thought I'd never say this, but what happened to like gateway drugs? Like we all thought, like a little bit turns into a lot of bit. It's a problem. Like,
No, you know, it goes.
golly.
Maybe you drank and for the first night, and then the next night maybe you smoked a little weed. The third night, definitely you were doing heroin and cocaine.
Yeah, right.
And
It's
now
like,
we're
come
on the
on,
fentanyl.
you're ridiculous.
There's no in betweens anymore. It's straight to the end.
I was watching somebody today, and they pulled up some numbers allegedly where
Can
like, the numbers of like fentanyl coming over the border that gets caught down, in Mexico is very high, but it's like little to nothing in Canada. So I was like, I don't know if he's looking up the wrong numbers or what, but I have heard that there's a
seen
lot of
something
people coming
different.
over
They s-
Canada border.
I seen something and heard on the news that more fentanyl comes over the Canada's border.
Yeah, right.
And
So I don't know what chart he was looking up, but it
Yeah.
was like little to nothing.
and the amounts that have been caught were way more in Canada than in Mexico.
Well, dude, if I was a bad guy, I'd all the heat's on the Mexican border.
so
I'd
I'd
be
fly
like,
my ass up there, and I got a better
I'd be like,
chance
"All
to
right,
get
let's,
in.
let's swing up there to,
Yeah, take a little scenic
Hey,
route
we'll
up
see us
and
coming
go.
in through Canada.
Yeah.
Put your toque on, man, and then slide on through on your bobsled. Bro.
Right, there we go. Hell yeah.
Don't worry, I just got my toque on, eh?
Yeah, you just ride your horse right over
They
the
won't
border.
know I got fentanyl.
Yeah. And then the Yakuza are bringing in nuclear stuff in the New York ports. So, you know,
right.
it's almost like every single part of our perimeter is important to guard and like make sure we see what's coming in and out.
Yeah.
It's
Which
almost
they-
like if you thought about it, like we were all Americans under one house being our country. What are you just letting random people in your house while you're sleeping? And you just leaving the back door open for whoever to walk in your house?
Wait, don't go far away. It's a great segue, because speaking of things coming in and out, whatever happened with that J6 pipe bomb that came in?
Oh yeah, that where the
We weren't sure what to do with
the
it
one
to take it out.
the one camera that would have seen who put it there and left just
and the
went
guy
offline.
waving at the cop driving by, hey, buddy, don't worry about me.
So let's listen to the update here we got from Thomas Massey over on the good old Matt Gates show here.
Oh, yeah, I was
You
wondering what's up
recently
with Matt Gaetz
met
here.
with Capitol Police
Correct. Today,
today, and what did you learn in that meeting?
I learned that backpack guy, January 6th backpack guy, not to be confused with January 5th backpack person, guy was a non-uniform, plainclothes police officer, in the employ of the Capitol Hill Police.
The person who found the pipe bomb, the person who D'Antuono, who was leading the investigation, say, oh yeah, the person who found it, it'd be investigation 101, that they would be a suspect initially until ruled out. You're saying that person was an undercover, plainclothes Capitol Police officer, and the Capitol Police confirmed that to you today.
They confirmed that to me today. Yes.
Why did it take so long to confirm that?
I can tell you exactly
That's
why.
crazy. I mean, like something security didn't want to
No, no,
divulge
no.
that yet.
Well,
It's-
we lost the election. Trump's going to come in. They're going to get new FBI agents in here. They're going to investigate it. And before all the smoke starts coming out, let me start weaning out a little bit before. So right before Trump got into office, hey, look, we're going to the J6 bomber again.
Well, I think they put
we
the
haven't
bomb
heard
there.
about him
They
in
put the-
4 years, but you got all the other people from J6 in jail already.
They had to have put the bomb there in case things didn't pop off, bro.
No,
Because
exactly.
they totally buried that. They never ended up using that in the news at all.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why it was an FBI agent put that bomb there, most likely.
Well, most
Just
likely it was false
likely-
flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then they
More-
found out it wasn't even live, right?
What they put, and they
I
put one at the
forget.
DNC and the RNC building. They got one at the Republican building and the Democrat
yeah,
building,
right.
and neither one of them went off. But just in case, it
nothing
doesn't
like
get
your
hot
just in
enough.
case pipe bombs. Don't you just
Right.
have a just in case pipe bomb
You're
around?
right.
Like you gotta always make sure you have. It's like EDC gear.
Yeah, and
You
you
just
turn
always-
the cameras just in case
Yeah.
you get caught.
Yeah, there's so much fishiness around that. And I love how they had to like, I don't know if whoever gave that guy the little bit of information to do the story was kicking himself. It was like, oh crap, like they're gonna come after me. But the whole thing when he said this camera hasn't moved this angle for years, and then this one time this happens, all of a sudden. I'm just gonna turn over this way for no reason when I only turn when I have input commanded to me.
Absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, who's in control of that camera?
Somebody had a.
It's the Capitol Police, I believe.
How much
Oh,
you
you
want to
mean-
bet they're gonna say the
You-
flippers
you
the
mean
flipper zeros
Pelosi?
are now illegal? Somebody had to use a flipper zero and over there and like
Oh,
hacked
bro,
our
there's a new one
camera.
already that's better than the Flipper Zero.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, and
That's the baby
Pelosi-
I
version.
seen the new one the other day. I was
Yeah.
like, man, there's always another note like the
Yeah.
next one. Flipper
Yeah.
Zeros are old now.
Yeah, they are.
Like 2-3
I
years
see. I
old,
seen
bro.
the
They
updated
outdated.
version. I was like, man, it's just like cell phones. They just really popping off with the features
Yeah.
on this thing.
Yeah, no joke, right? Oh yeah. So you can listen to us all day long, or maybe like friends of yours and stuff like that. But I thought it'd be cool to listen to this combat vet who just happens to be gay and see what he has to say about Trump banning trans folks from the military. Let's see what this gentleman has to say.
Executive order banning transgender people from the military. Let me tell you what this means. First of all, number one, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, there are upwards of 15,000 trans people that are serving, quote unquote, in the United States military right now. The first thing that I'm going to tell you is that all of these people are non-deployable. What that means is that if you are a transgender identified person that is, quote unquote, serving in the United States military right now, you are non-combat deployable. So these people cannot deploy to combat theaters. When the United States is involved in any sort of conflict overseas, transgender people literally cannot be deployed. What this means is that you've got a lot of people that are sucking up taxpayer funds, sitting in an office somewhere, maybe they're doing pack work, etc., but they are non-combat deployable. This does not bode well for Pete Hegseth's mission of a lethal military. The second thing is that the vast majority of transgender people, when they separate from the United States military, do so by medically separating. This means that they are at 80 to 100% disability. And so now, what that means is that they are on the taxpayers, they're on the hook, taxpayers are on the hook, for $200,000 to $300,000 per year annually of quote unquote transgender healthcare, which is also covered by the VA. So every single transgender person that separates from the military via medical discharge is covered by the VA for their hormones or their test, like whatever it is that the trans person is on, that is covered by the VA because they are medically separated. This costs American taxpayers to the tune upwards of 6 figures per person. All right.
6 figures per person.
A year.
And so he said there was 12,000 in there, right? Now, what really blows my mind is that none of them were allowed to go to combat. Like, just by definition, they're not allowed to go to combat because they're on, like, mind-altering drugs or something like that.
Then
Yeah,
why are
that's
they in the
what's our eyes
military
and
in the
stuff.
first place? Because they got a mental disease, which should disqualify them in the first place
mean,
from
like, they can
being
push
in the
papers?
military. You can't have a gun because you're
Like-
mentally got
Right,
a
you
problem.
probably shouldn't be
You
out there
need, like,
in
a
combat.
mailman.
But
Right.
you know,
I mean,
But-
we still need people to push the papers in the military and
But, you know, still a little
cook the
bit
meals and
no,
stuff
but
like
you
that.
still got to be
Interesting, you can't
combat
send-
ready.
Yeah, and that's why, like, the
That's
whole
why they
big...
go to boot camp.
And that's why the shtick...
Anybody goes in anything, you got to pass boot camp.
And that's why the shtick is... Well, that's why they lowered the, like, difficulty of it. What's it called? The PTR test or something like that?
The PT test, the
PT.
physical training test.
Yeah, so they lowered that
and,
ish,
and
right?
Because for
also
women, there's
where
too many
they
people are too
can't
fat
do,
and this and that.
as we know, what did we know about the military growing up? What was there always you're going to run into if you went into the military?
A jerk?
You're a drill instructor, aka
Oh, yeah,
a loud, mean jerk. He's making it funny, and
Oh,
they
you mean,
can't do that anymore.
Yeah, they can't do
You,
that.
Yeah,
you,
well,
you mean
I
a
think
full metal
Marines
jacket
still
or
has that.
One at a time, one at a time.
I was gonna say, yeah, like a full metal jacket get yelled at and stuff like that.
Yep.
But then you get that mental disability and you crack, and that's what a bunch of those trans people, that can't handle this or that, and then they end up cracking, and then you end up having a problem with people getting killed and hurt, and not being full ready for combat, and then get the
Yeah,
one weak link in the chain, and then cause the whole problem for the whole platoon.
Yep. That can definitely cost lives if they can't be strong with just following orders and knowing what has to be done on the battlefield, because a lot of that takes a whole lot of courage. I mean, obviously they're so full of courage because they came out and declared how they are and whatnot, so they got courage in those rates. But that's a lot different courage than when you got people surviving solely based on your efforts and the decisions you make in milliseconds, and being able to oppose fear, which is one thing that's where they generally do suffer with, because that's why they had the courage, but there was still a whole lot of fear will put them in the place to have the said courage to come out of the place. So
100%.
it's kind of one foot after another.
100%, bro. And it's like, hey, man, maybe we could have transgender people in the military. But, like, if you really want to be in the military and you're transgender, right, maybe there's, like, a program we could have, like, ahead of time to, like, get you prepared for it and shit. And then you got to get, like, stabilized, right? Now, so my point is, because, like, I don't want to assume they're all bad people, right? Like, let's try not to be rude or something. Like, every single one of these 12,000 trans people are just mental diseased, angry, terrible, bad people. Dude. Maybe there's a few that wanted to be in the military, right? But what I find strange is if you were trying to figure your shit out and you're in the middle of transitioning, is the first thought you have like, I've got to be a part of the military. Yeah, because I really got to serve my country. So that's where I think that's difficult to believe. Instead, it's way easier, like an Occam razor. What's the like easiest, most likely simple thing? It's way more believable that they all joined the military because they knew it was going to be paying for their, medicine.
College. When I went to school, you always want to go
to
the army
the
to go.
transitions
I know.
ones.
I'm just saying. When I was growing up, go to the military, do a couple years, and they'll pay for your schooling. What? And this situation,
Which is a productive reason.
Yeah. No, that's what I grew up with. And then,
but you knew they were going to give you a handout of some sort, right?
And so this reason, they're going in there to get their medical
Transition
bills,
stuff.
transition,
Yeah.
whatever crap.
Because I don't know if
and get it for the rest of your life paid for.
I think
because they don't
want to
pay
too.
the surgeries or whatever.
Like, that's crazy.
Just like in prisons.
That's crazy.
Just like in prisons when
Right.
when
Yeah,
a
Mala
guy,
pushed that hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Any
she
of the
did
illegals
she
they
did
want it,
that
we'll let 'em get it.
Either because of her low IQ or it was just an
Definitely a
evil on
baccarat.
purpose. She had males. She was paying for getting state money and federal money to pay for a male to turn himself into a so-called woman,
And
which has never been known what it is for the last 4 years until the last couple weeks or week, a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it's been since the 20th. All of a sudden, we know what a woman is now, and you just, it is so frustrating.
the
But
most frustrating.
her doing that got a lot of actual women either killed or seriously
hurt and raped
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
pregnant in jail.
mhm,
Right.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
That one's-
It's weird that the women in jail can get
pregnant.
How
that
pregnant,
work?
but not this other so-called woman in the jail or prison. That's I wonder why that is. It's almost like there's differences,
My
physical
personal
differences, not just mental differences.
My personal selfish response to that is like, bro, we gotta get these like transgender people out of these female jails because they're making men look really bad, bro. Like,
Well, and
like
the-
you send them over there and all they do is like rape and hurt women. Like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Like,
how about we come up for a metaphor of the bear in the woods? Like, what
Yeah,
a
right.
trans guy in a women's prison. Like,
Right.
Well, a problem is some of those guys were actually women rapists, and then they know they're gonna go to jail, and then they say, "Oh, I'm a transgender," so then they get to go to jail, and then what? You put them in with it's like a going to a buffet,
yeah,
and
Yep.
that's disgusting.
yeah. They're basically setting them right up to get a home run.
Yeah, and then they say, "Oh, we
With our
gotta
money.
let 'em-
That's our money that's paying for it too.
we gotta let them do it because we don't want to discriminate against them because of that. Well, so what? I'd rather discriminate against somebody and whatever their mindset is, besides let them go commit a crime and rape people in jail while they're there.
Back in the day, we
You know?
used to call it telling the truth.
Well, they don't know the truth.
Let's finish what this guy was saying.
Third of all, gender dysphoria is a documented mental illness, which means that we have these people
100%.
that are not only non-combat deployable, they are also costing the U.S. taxpayer $100,000 plus per year for their health care, and they also have a documented mental health condition. This is why Trump has signed or is about to sign the executive order banning transgender people from the military, because the military is not a medical experiment. Taxpayers should not be footing the bill for this. And also, on a personal note, if you know anything about my history, I am a gay soldier. I'm a gay veteran. I actually protested to end national until the law that banned gay and lesbian soldiers from serving openly. Trans got sort of added to that at the last minute. And I will not say who this person is, but I was involved in liberal activism with more than one trans-identified soldier back in the day. And what I will tell you, and again, I'm not going to say this person's name, but the receipts are all out there on the internet. This is one of the most mentally unstable people I have ever dealt with in my entire life. And the thought of sharing a military combat unit with somebody, and this was a quote-unquote transgender woman, somebody that was this unstable, gives me a lot of pause, and it even gave me pause back then. So when you think about the fact that Trump is banning trans from the military, I want you to think about those facts.
Very true, man.
Yeah.
Except
When I
if
go
you
to
see it
fight-
from the one side, they're not.
I mean, it's tricky, man, because just like how many years ago we would have been like, oh, gays shouldn't be in the military. I mean, like, no, not
No.
everyone's a stereotype, bro. Like, this gay dude seems pretty educated.
I've
seems
seen him
pretty
before.
logical.
I've seen him in videos.
Oh,
and
is
stuff
he like
that.
a
He's popular
figure kind of thing?
Yeah, he's a military figure.
Oh,
I've
that's
seen him
cool.
before. And for training and stuff like that.
Neat.
But he never knew he was gay. But
I
it
mean-
doesn't matter if he's
Oh, no shoot.
No, I didn't know that.
That's cool.
It doesn't matter what his sexuality is, but he's mentally
Yeah.
stable.
It doesn't really
And
matter.
the biggest thing with transgenders, one, they go in there mostly for the sex changes, but then they're not mentally stable enough, man.
Right.
And I don't give a, if you're gay here or where.
It sounds like a
but-
hard time if
no.
you're going in through this whole transition
No,
thing,
yeah,
dog.
no,
Like,
and that's messing your brain up.
let's hope
But
you
if
get stable first,
I go into a battle,
and then maybe we could use you in the
yeah,
military.
I want somebody
Yeah.
I can 100% trust and know that when it comes down to it, they're not gonna freak out or back out, and that they're mentally tough enough. Because if they're not tough enough, then I ain't trying to be next to them.
I got an idea.
Oh my goodness.
Why did they get the transgender surgery stuff right away? Shouldn't it be like you do your like
Yeah, do your 4 years.
you
and
do
then
your
you
4
get
years
that.
and then it's like life. It's like cool, man. Choose transition surgery or college. Which one? Like you get one or the other. Like
Well,
Right? That's really what.
man,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
if
except
they're
they
liberal,
want-
we
they
know
want
which one
the-
they chose. Well,
Oh.
actually, they could chose either one.
Well,
They're all
what
the same.
they always
I know.
what they always choose
Go
is
to a
I want
community
my
college.
cake and I want it made for me and you're gonna feed it to me.
yeah.
That is how
know.
they go about those things. Because I bet back in the day there were already trans in the military.
No.
Yep, I bet there were some that actually. Well,
Under-
but because
closet ones?
because like a real trans, not all these fake trans as today. Trans is a real thing, and then just as people like to do,
Like a
they like to
hermaphrodite.
make something trendy, or if it's like they want to be that everybody wants to be the one special thing, right?
too much red.
So
food
if they
dye.
feel like they're too much like somebody else, and it's like just eating at their person, they might then choose, you know what? I'm going to stand out by changing myself in such a dramatic way. And then they do that. But like real trans, some of them are, like I was saying before, it does take a lot of courage to kind of like come out and just be proud of what you are, to actually like not hide it so much. They actually probably have characteristic qualities. It goes like, again, it never should, the whole equality about diversion, all this was just we're in weak times. People were not as competitive. We're in a whole state of weakness. Just nobody was striving to be the best. So now, since everybody's feeling left out, well, instead of everybody getting better, since we're in weak times, the solution is, we got to just include them too. No. How did we get to be the best country in the freaking world? It was through hard work, perseverance, David Goggins type
Being
shit.
a jerk, man. That's what's tricky.
Stop being a bitch. Like, just don't listen to you in a bitch.
Yeah.
That's just you being a pussy. Like, except then, things have happened and everybody's like, oh, it's mean and whatnot. No, like, you don't want to. You're afraid to go for greatness.
Well,
and so now we've had to bring in weakness instead of all trying to be great and lifting everybody up to greatness, which, I mean, we still are. But then, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And then all of a sudden, 100%. Unfortunately, that it got tricky. We had a lot of pressure, masculinity, this and that, because the only way you combat that is through what would be seen by them as toxic masculinity, being too stern, yada, yada, like, I got my life, you can't tell me to do that. Like, I mean, I can't tell you to do anything, but as we've learned from hundreds, if not thousands of years of text and, important figures through life, people we've always looked up to, it doesn't fall. They don't have any of those qualities as a person. Right. And so that is what they have been, TV programmed with all the stuff over the years. And now that's the situation we're in. We're in a weak society. I bet back in the day, because guess what? If that trans person could shoot a guy, iron sights, 500 yards, just over and over, and just was a beast.
Welcome.
Guess what?
Well,
They're gonna go, we would
right.
love to have you on our team because we could see you can do the thing. But then it got to, hey, I'm not that good as him, but I want to get on there. Like, this ain't fair. Just because I'm not good enough doesn't mean I can't get on the team. Right. Like, it was a participation trophies thing. Like, no, you can't. I mean, life is like that. You're going to learn at some point you can't do everything. You can't get to anything you set your mind. I mean, I don't want to say that because I'm an inspirationalist like that.
I think the easiest example.
Some people, the guy that's stuck in a wheelchair, I'm sorry, bud, but you're not going to be an NBA player.
I think the easiest example is
so
to
they
say,
get over it, and then they figure out another thing they're really strong in.
If you tried to say, hey, the NBA is racist, and it actually needs to represent the actual racial percentages of America, so there needs to be 60% white people on the court, and then 15% African American, 15% Hispanic, and 12% Asian. Nobody watching the NBA no more.
Right. I mean, it's just supposed to be whoever's
hey,
the best.
This game got a lot slower. Am I kooky or
Yeah, all of a sudden, and that is part, if you look at it, exactly why it's happening. The only way they get a one world government is if everybody kind of morphs together. Because if you have a bunch of different, it's really hard to have the same set of rules for all the differences, which is why America was the greatest thing, because we had strengths of all different broads and spectrums. And now they want everything to be about the same. And if everybody gets programmed that we all have to be equal, well, then there is no opposition anywhere. And then you just get trampled by whoever actually is going to say, we are the strongest force, which generally at that point, as conspiracy theorists are always been afraid of, the authoritative dictatorship government, which right now is the WEF. As far as we can tell, it would be the easiest way to say the one world government. It's mostly just like the big banks, the big old banks, because they are above it all. They fund all the operations. They make the money, and the world go round. Yeah, so all we can do is keep eating meat.
And watch the new press secretary start snapping on people because this chick is pretty bad.
Eat more steaks, drink more beer.
Here we got the clip from the Mr. Benny Johnson, good friend of the show. Let's check it out.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Impossible to enumerate the number of upgrades that we've seen in the administration of the United States of at all. So Cringe was really the only person that we'd see interact with us on a regular basis from the White House. It was so hard. For instance, just seconds ago, rapping, not AI, plea breaking.
That's
that
a good
is.
photo.
The
Heck
gangster
no.
combination has
in
begun.
here.
New faces. And President Trump is back, and the golden age of America has most definitely begun.
The memes will be dreams. Speaking of memes, Carolyn Levitt is
Federal crime.
So I'm asking, though, he said he was going to focus on those violent offenders first. So is violent offenders no longer the predicate for these people to be deported?
The president has said countless times on the campaign trail, I've been with him at the rallies, I know you've been there covering them too, Peter, that he is focused on launching the largest mass deportation operation in American history of illegal criminals. And if you are an individual, a foreign national, who illegally enters the United States of America, you are, by definition, a criminal. And so therefore, you are subject to deportation.
I apologize for interrupting. So to be clear, it's not violent criminals do not receive precedence in terms of the deportations taking
The
place.
president has also said two things can be true at the same time. We want to deport illegal criminals, illegal immigrants from this country,
watch
but the
this.
president has said that, of course, the illegal criminal drug dealers, the rapists, the murderers, the individuals who have committed heinous acts on the interior of our country and who have terrorized law-abiding American citizens, absolutely, those should be the priority of ICE, but that doesn't mean that the other illegal criminals who entered our nation's borders are off.
yes, when you break the nation's laws, there's a good chance that you're going to continue breaking the nation's laws. Funny how that works when somebody enters your house.
Very true.
Yeah, I think later on that he even asked, "What about the people that are overstayed their visas?" Oh, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, those people be on the list too.
Yeah, bro.
We're gonna have to
Like,
send them too.
I mean,
Hey,
like,
you're breaking
yeah,
the law.
we don't
you're breaking the
necessarily.
rules. You gotta go.
It's like anybody. You spend a little time getting to know them. Like, yeah, they might be great people, but unfortunately, they weren't born here and they didn't go under the legal process.
And you're
So
overstaying your welcome.
If you really like them, marry them and save a criminal alien. You know?
or help them
Do your
with,
part.
if they have to then be deported, they aren't going to make any money since you're in the land of the milk and honey, as
Send
people
them
say.
money.
Send them money. Help them do the process then the correct way.
Get
It's
the
almost,
Mexican address.
it's almost like they could have also. I
Yeah.
mean, they
Just
just,
like that.
out of fear. If I was one of those people, right when Biden and Harris got into office, I would have started my documentation process because they've been like, yeah, what are they going to do? They're definitely not, I'm in this. I don't even have to cross the border. I'm already here. I might as well start the process because now, yeah, you don't really get seen that much slack, and it's going to look worse on you. If you are illegal and you don't want to get kicked out, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission at this point. In the beginning, you should have asked for permission.
If you
but
don't want to pay the time,
Don't do the crime.
that's the old
Right.
school saying.
Right.
like,
We got rid of that saying,
But one of
right?
the biggest thing is the people. I got more than a few working at my job. It just came in the last couple years, and they might not be looking for them guys, but all the dumb people that are out here robbing, killing, raping people, you 100% brought the fire. And
And if you
anybody-
live with one, you're gonna get taken home too, because
Yeah.
that's what they were crying about. Like one of them
Yeah.
was they were grabbing criminal aliens that were in the home where they went to find the guy who like was on the did clear crimes,
What?
like egregious crimes,
Yeah.
criminal alien
Yeah,
list,
yeah.
right?
You're
And then they
illegal.
find, and then they
And then
find,
they just
Go
wrapped
too.
after everybody else, you
Wrapped
know?
everybody else.
And then they were like, "Sir, we thought that he said that he was." It's like, ah, bro, you misunderstood that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
either
Is
way,
he illegal here? Yes. Oh, that means he broke a law. So goodbye.
Goodbye.
like if you want to stay in America, you also, if you deserve to stay here, you abide by the law. Like that's what we all have to do as citizens. So technically, y'all taking advantage. Like you guys have it better than everybody else here. We love it that you have it better than where you were at, but you're technically now stealing from us.
They're trying to like equity it. So like they ain't got a crib and a good ass job yet, but they can get away with murder.
What do you
know.
mean?
Well,
They-
I was
they-
demons out, you know,
talking
like-
about the actual, ones that aren't doing like
they get all the
crimes. They're
Social
just
Security
here
benefits
for
and
the,
everything else
for
already.
the better.
Verbally get away with it.
Well, there's a lot of illegals that are just just working. They just wanted a better opportunity. That's what I'm talking about. All the
Too
rest
bad
of
so
them,
sad,
they
man.
needed,
Do it
like,
the right
get
way,
out.
bro. Kick rocks,
Like
man.
violent,
Better opportunity, my ass.
all the
Like,
violent people, like, it's brain dead if you don't think they should like, if anything, kick them out, and then if they get let back through, because basically like how the prison system works, you can prove that you're an honorable citizen. Yeah, maybe the guy that still is here just working for a better opportunity, but he's still here illegally. It looks a lot worse. It's a big heartfelt story, but there's laws, and there's the same laws for us if we were to go anywhere else. We can't just go somewhere and then start staying unless it's very third world. And guess what?
Right.
You don't have any of the safeties you do here in America.
And nobody does
Like
birthright citizenship.
anytime in the middle of the
Yeah,
night,
we're the only country that does that.
some
which is
mafia or
stupid.
gang people, some random militias might take you and behead you. You just because you're a different skin color, this and that. But
Right.
over here, yeah, people are saying we're the most racist country in the world. Yet there's the most different colors, and
We're
there's
the most
way.
diverse.
And if you look at the crime in these other countries, it's way less. And the crappy part is, in those other countries where they come from, it's not a diverse color thing. They just literally just hate each other, and they just kill each other just because they're petty like that. Like they're criminals, and that's why we would rather have them in those parts of the world we may or may not visit, but they can still, we let them still live because they're human beings. Obviously, we're not trying to just genocide people off the earth. Like, everybody gets a fair shot for the most part. But it doesn't mean you got to come to the best economy, best everything in the world so you can have a shot at the world.
Well, I mean, we're gonna drop
Obviously,
people if we are.
Yeah, but
So,
and that's why we have our system. So
right.
as we started the best
Come
of the
on
best,
in.
we're going to continue it, only be the best of the best, so we don't turn into these other not too good parts of the world.
But the
And
only
get a
thi-
work visa.
But the only thing we're getting right now is the worst of the worst.
Right. Well,
So-
like what was it? Ecuador emptied out the like insane asylums and the jails.
Yeah.
Yeah,
blah, blah,
Venezuela.
blah, right? Was it Venezuela?
They did too. Yeah.
Yeah, both of
Yeah, I
them.
think like all
Yeah,
of them, right?
yeah,
Pretty much all of them.
No,
So-
Ecuador's president went and locked up 75-80% of their country.
Yeah.
Anyone who had a tattoo, you're living with your mother too, she's in jail. You're in jail. And now he's starting to let everybody who's maybe we weaned the ones that weren't in the gangs and stuff like that out, but locked like 70% of the country up in jail.
Bro, no, we covered
and
that
said
one.
Anybody who
He was
got a
gangster on it,
tattoo,
bro.
bam, in jail.
Yep.
You in jail. You go straight to jail.
Yep, it's
Was
like-
that Ecuador or Salvador? I think it was El Salvador.
Yeah, I mean,
It was the El Salvadorian guy that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
maybe it was that
he
one.
locked up
But-
like
The Venezuelans
the
let all their
gangs. Yeah.
people out of the jail and sent them to
was-
the United States. Is what's
was
going
it
on
s-
right
was
now.
it Saturday Night Live that made the little skit about it. Oh, you jaywalk straight to jail. you jump too high, straight to jail.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
you
this
have
one-
lipstick on,
No, so
straight
which
to
one is it?
jail.
It is okay. It is El Salvador.
yeah, this one right here. Because this guy turned around the whole country, and then he's also the
No,
one
yeah,
that made
it had like
a-
one of the highest crime rates in the world.
Oh,
and
they,
now
yeah,
it's got, like
they
the
had,
least crime rate in the world.
they had
It's super
they had the
interesting.
worst
Jack around
gang
and find out.
they had
Talk
the
about
worst
that.
gang violence problems in the world.
Yeah.
And then he also made it a crypto something nation. He made it like a real big Bitcoin thing. Like, bruh, they coming, bro. Yeah, no, we covered this one. It was very interesting.
Well, Mexico needs to do the same damn thing, like real quick.
They got all these dudes, man, like shirtless in the jail, bro.
Yeah, that
like,
way you can see all their tattoos and everything. You know
Yeah.
exactly who they are.
they
They
cut
all
all their
look
hair.
exactly the same.
Yeah, absolutely bonkers.
But yeah, they're
But
neat
now,
that
country's way better.
we became a civilized society a long time ago. Laws are there for a reason. Because people are like, oh, how are you going to just send Mexico can't deal with the influx of people sent back? Oh,
That's not
wow.
our
Look at
problem.
you, one-sided thinking. How about us dealing with the influx of people?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
How-
look right
Look
there.
at the graph.
Yeah, I told you it's super high, man. Yeah. You got the new president.
We're way down here, bro. That's crazy.
And they were way up there.
Oh,
what is it?
my God. Yeah, what's the metric?
I love the name of it. Latino metrics.
Homicides per 100,000 people. Oh, my God.
Damn, they're just all
So
killing
they was
each other
just
every day.
murdering everybody. Damn.
Yeah, yeah.
gang
No,
wars
it
every
was,
day.
they were the most violent. It was the most violent gang crime
Country.
nation or country
Country in the world.
in the world.
Bro, 2016, they said, I'm done, bro. I'm
Yep.
done. And now they below all of us? They're tied up with Canada, huh?
I'm telling you.
Only
they,
for
they
so
went from the worst in the
long.
world to, well, we got next to nobody
Yeah,
because
no
we locked our
joke,
entire.
bro.
Hey, you want to mess around? We're locking the entire country
So wait,
down.
you mean to tell me if you enforce the law
You
and
can
you
fix
put
the
the
crime?
bad people in jail, the murdering stops?
I'm-
Okay,
I-
Chicago, I'm going to need you to pull a chair up here, bro. Pull an effing chair up.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little class.
God bless,
Just,
dude.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
take a seat. Take a seat.
I think they should give...
Chicago and New York need to learn something here.
I think they should give away guns to citizens in Chicago and actually lock bad guys up. Problem solved. And everybody's like, why don't they do it? They clearly want the problem. So that's the annoying thing, folks.
Yeah.
Move
Switzerland,
out of the city.
Switzerland, they give everybody of fighting military age a gun,
Okay, here we
and
go.
so everybody's got guns. And imagine
Yeah,
this:
yeah.
they keep their violent criminals
Isn't it
locked
required?
up, and and then they also keep their violent criminals locked up,
Right.
which is barely none because everybody's got guns, and
Yeah.
they're gonna know that if
And the
Anyway,
society
they're
is
gonna
really
follow
good
through
too.
with law.
if
Problem
somebody
solved.
does something bad with a gun, the whole society's gonna know if it's bad or good. Because generally, if just anybody's getting shot, there's gonna be a whole big fuss about it. And if you then just let those people that shot a bunch of people back out, then you have more problems. But if you keep them in jail, and then the people that didn't shoot people up in the first place but would have shot back, those people with guns came after them, all of a sudden society is a little quieter. It's a little people second think things maybe before going through, or they just don't even get to thinking about that point because they realize there's a bigger picture, which is being banded in arms with your brothers and looking to the big picture, which is for you, your community, your nation, whatever community you're a part of is the first main thing. And then just, it compounds. The snowball rolls downhill and it gets bigger. Ugh.
Absolutely wild. I like listening to this guy talk, though.
I would hope you will explain it because very little has been written in the
I
West
like him too.
about this.
They're satanic, yes.
But actually, literally, can you explain?
Well, they didn't start as a satanic organization. They MS-13 started in Los Angeles, in the U.S., because Salvadorans weren't allowed to sell drugs by the Mexican gangs. So they created a gang that was called the 18th Street Gang, because they basically wanted to sell drugs in a street that was 18th Street over there. But then division started to they started dividing themselves and started infighting. So they created the MS-13. And then the MS-13 started outgrowing the other gangs, and they started exporting the organization to other parts of the U.S. And when Bill Clinton decided to deport those guys, he didn't tell our government at the time, I'm deporting this criminal. They just, send them here. And they came, they were.
That's definitely rude if you're like, having to do that. Like if you diplomatically or nations relationshipsly or something like that. Like you should let them know you're deporting them back or something.
I'm gonna send you all your people back because I'm sick and tired of them being gang members in my country, and I'm not gonna really tell you I'm sending them back. But here, have some gang members.
Like that's kind of a jerk move, right?
Well,
few.
You'd think they would know.
Unchecked. At the same time, some laws were passed to protect minors from imprisonment. And of course, gangs use that to recruit 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. So at the beginning it was, some youth causing harm, assaulting, trying to control their territory, selling drugs, things that are bad, but probably not critical. But they grew, and they started controlling territories. A few years later, they were actually a huge international criminal organization that they have bases in Italy.
Yeah, absolutely bonkers. I still think it's absolutely crazy that MS-13 came from LA. I didn't know that for the longest time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep. It's almost like LA hasn't been the greatest place in the world as much as they boast it for everything. There's one tiny bit of LA, and it's the Beverly Hills.
Name the city of angels.
Yeah.
A bit religious of a name.
Yeah, for all that
And that's why it
satanic
all
stuff
burned up.
happening. Right, yeah, maybe that was just the almighty smiting down the
Sodom and Gomorrah, man. You know, all the centers and all the Satans. They say Hollywood is full of, you know, Satan worshiping, you know, Hollywood pedals and everything else. You know, I'm not trying to say none, but
we're way past I told you so. This needs to be shared out by everybody, man, so we can lobby our representatives to support halting the COVID vax. And my humble opinion, YouTube, not a medical professional, and I would not be able to advise nobody does anything with their, you know, medical stuff. But personally, I would ask my representative to look at this research from the scientists, you know, where they reviewed, you know, the market removal of COVID-19 vaccines because, you know, there's a risk completely outweighing the hypothetical benefits that we can't really quantify. So, you know, don't ban me, bro. But this is pretty interesting, man. Some more like egregious evidence. So, new peer-reviewed study finds irrefutable evidence for immediate market withdrawal of COVID-19 vaccines. Over 81,000 physicians, scientists, concerned citizens, 240 elected officials, 17 professional organizations, excess mortality, negative efficacy, and DNA contamination call for urgent action. And like they've got like the stats and graphs, bruh. Like, god dang.
They got the pie graph with the different colored pies. Always no pie graph.
Hell yeah, pies. Just pies.
Dang.
No pies.
I can't understand it now because it's not a pie.
But yeah, something to be you know, taken like kind of seriously. Look, they got a publichealthpolicyjournal.com. That seems legitimate, right? Like if it says factcheck.com, you're supposed to just believe they know how to fact check everything, right? So
the fact checkers always need fact checked.
yeah. What do you got on this one, huh, YouTube? You're gonna like try and shut us down and censor us here for speaking the facts?
Well, I mean, I go to YouTube for all my other medical inquiries. They are like the experts on medical, so you know they're the real doctors.
Well, they suspended our episode and shut it down because they claimed we gave advice. So they claimed that we said don't take the jab when we never said don't take the jab. We said I wouldn't take the jab because oh shit, like this is interesting information.
Maybe
like,
we got to do it like these other government employees, and we're just going to switch our YouTube name to best doctor of best YouTube certified doctor, and then YouTube's algorithm probably look right over it because it sees that it's one of them YouTube doctors that YouTube approves already. And then we won't have a problem. I think that's the way to get around it. Yeah, because YouTube obviously has their picked doctors that they say are the best. And those are the ones that promote COVID and this and that. But if you be sneaky and you just say you're approved in your name, just like all these other government employees are switching their titles so they don't get in trouble.
Yeah, that one didn't work out right.
Maybe that's how we get around it. As long as your name on the board says you're a certain thing, that's just what you are, you know? Like everybody else has to abide by it, just kind of like what you identify as.
Right.
Like I am a cardboard box.
I said it, so it must be true. This is the one that blows my mind. Total number of COVID vaccine deaths reported by VAERS, which is like the main government organization, or is it not government? 37,544 among all participating countries have far exceeded the recall limits of past vaccine withdrawals by up to 375,340%. So it's not a government entity because it's all the countries?
That's a lot of percents.
I don't know. But yeah, 375,000% over. Like, what's up with that, YouTube fact checkers? We can't call on Facebook fact checkers no more? They got rid of them? I don't know. We can go get community notes, man. But this looks very factual here to me, man. I don't know. Maybe they're making a fake website and it's all fake data, but the criteria for the FDA class I recall, which applies to products with reasonable probability of causing serious adverse health consequences or death, have been far exceeded. Excess mortality, negative efficacy, widespread DNA contamination, like we were talking about in the post before. Absolutely bonkers, bro. 95% relative risk reduction in symptomatic COVID-19, a metric that underpinned the decision for widespread rollout. However, these trials present serious methodology concerns. The trials were prematurely terminated. The placebo groups were unblinded, effectively eliminating the ability to assess long-term safety and adverse events. Now, maybe these guys are biased and they don't like it. But, we should be able to have this open discourse and talk about this shit, and it should be questioned, in my humble opinion.
Yep. Question looked into by legal teams.
So if you're into this shit, bro, check this one out.
Class action lawsuits, I'm smelling, are going to be quite popular. Just like we see all over the TV commercials now. Mesothelioma.
They
You're
got
entitled
immunity.
to. Hey, I bet.
They all had
I bet some
emergencies.
asbestos people had immunity at some point, and so maybe it's years down the road, but
Insane, bro.
you might be 70 and knocking on death's door, but you can't be entitled to compensation.
Absolutely bonkers, folks. So if you would like to do your own research, because we are not medical people and we can't tell you what to do with your body, and then also if anybody asks you what you did with your body that break HIPAA laws, even though, everybody was trying to do that during COVID, go to the locals.mass-.com. That link is in the description box down below. And, hey, it's free to join. And you could just type into the search, because it's a uncensored Google search type device for you to pull up the receipts, folks. Just search for COVID vaccine and then pull this up, man. Take a look at this article, share it out to somebody that needs some, facts. But this is good for when, you're talking about how you were a little bit cautious about COVID vaccines. And then whoever you're talking to is trying to, get all in your face and be like, whoa, what proof, bruh? What proof? Oh, yeah? What proof, bruh? So, learn how to open up locals, learn how to search in the Mass Dash of Insights community I got going here for us. And, you use the receipts, guys. Use the receipts. It's good.
There's too much info out there to not have at least one receipt of something. That most likely these people that are in that much denial with it just haven't heard or seen anything of it because of the massive media machine.
I just met one this week. Another one.
Oh my god!
Like unless you
or on Friday,
unless you're
week.
on social media, you're on the quote unquote young kids like stuff.
Bro,
you're on the Facebooks, the TikToks. You will not see this stuff on TV.
He tried to pull the very fine people
anywhere.
hoax, bro.
Like maybe if you watch Fox, but that's maybe. And if you're one of those people, more than likely
you'll be upset
don't
and
watch
won't.
Fox.
Yup. Because he tried to pull the very fine people hoax because he was like, "Wait, you like Trump? Oh man!" And I was like, "Oh, bro, we gonna be here for a bit now, dog." And so he tried to pull very fine people, and he was like, "What do you mean? He said that the Nazis were great." And then my buddy was like, "Oh no, man, no." Because he was trying to be like, just have us talk and stay out of it and be real in the middle or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh hell no, bro."
You can't be this uninformed, right?
Oh no. Yeah, it was wild. And the dude's a really well-off kind of guy, so it's always a bummer. You gotta be not into information to
Well, generally,
become wealthy, but then you don't know what to do because you're on the wrong team.
It's kind of the thing with you go through the really nice neighborhoods, and if you live near one, you pass by them often, you might notice certain trends with certain really big house neighborhoods. You know what the trend is?
Got a American flag in front of it.
I can't say that's a particular pattern I've noticed specifically, but
if you're in the rural area,
yeah.
I'm like that guy does construction.
The people are not there. There's no lights on in the home. You don't see a family running around. The car's not in the driveway. I mean, it could be in the garage, but if you drive past enough, you'll see he does park in the driveway when they're home. That is because they are working so much. And to afford, the really good house, it's great. You got an awesome income. You got to work a lot to get it, whatnot. But then they might literally they don't have time other than to eat, shit, shower, and sleep. Go back to work. I mean, they have this extravagant. They make a big check, but they got to pay for the big house because they upgraded their lifestyle the whole time, and so now they're stuck and having no time. Money and these things are one thing, but when you have no time other than to eat, sleep, shit, and work, well, then you can't just go browse and get media sources from not the TV that's probably playing in the hospital every time you're in there, wherever you're at work, this and that.
I live that
so
lifestyle.
you don't get media anywhere else,
folks.
That's why it takes
build a better news.
The only way you can do it is a little bit of your own effort. Well, you have to have the want for the truth.
Build
Because
that better news
if
feed,
you
baby.
don't and you just soak up whatever anybody tells you, that wouldn't first. A wise man told me that you don't
Which we're
believe
preaching to
everything
the
you
choir
hear.
here. All
You
these
don't ever
people do
believe
that.
everything you hear. So then you got to look for yourself. And if you don't ever look for yourself, you will more than likely be a sheep led to the slaughter.
And make sure to spread that kind of info out, folks. Have them follow the Truther Cast and help somebody out this week, man, to help them build a better news feed.
Like, man,
It's tough out there.
you used to.
not good.
That's where it pisses me off too, because
now people are
that
scared.
was the American
Oh,
way.
yeah.
You went to work. You slept. You woke up. You smoked your cigarettes. You went to the diner. You supported the economy because you spent a lot of your money going out to eat because you could definitely afford it. You work. You go. You see your family. You turn on the news. Oh, they will tell you everything that has happened recently. And guess what? Back then, journalists were journalists for a reason. They had license. They were certified.
No, they
You
were
didn't-
journalists.
you
They're just
weren't-
not any longer.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
I'm trying to get at, like
No,
that's
that's why we're gonna
Now they're
have,
just,
that's why-
actors.
Well, that's why we're gonna have YouTubers and everything else.
Right.
Press conference
Sure.
room.
Yeah,
because
you heard about
know.
that.
journalists mean different once propaganda
pretty cool.
is legal.
Yeah. Did you hear what the Trump admin said, that you can just apply?
No,
So, like,
he's
even
already got.
podcasters and shit
he's
are
already
gonna be
got a
able to be-
couple that are been approved.
That's
Actually,
cool.
she said, and
I'm
one
not
of
aware.
them,
Cool.
I'm
and
not
that
aware.
they're gonna let these in there.
Yeah. Just
And
like any Tom,
anybody.
Dick, Harry news people,
Any-
like they're not going to
and-
be like only legacy media now.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Look at that. It's all
Any TikToker, YouTuber, or anything
Right?
like that.
And I'm
they
hoping
said
they pull them up close, bro, and bump a few of the legacy
No,
people.
and they said that.
I
They're gonna
hope
do that
these
into
leg-
the room.
I hope these
Right?
And that
legacy
they can-
people
all they have
feel-
to do is apply,
Right?
and you're at the same weaning out. You can't whatever.
Because
And you
Carolyn was
can-
saying it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're gonna
That's-
start it, and anybody who wants to be in the news can go. And some of that big heavy media, if you keep
think they said
telling
they're
a
gonna
bunch
put
of
'em in the
crap
back.
and this and that, you're gonna get stuck in the back, or not even. You're gonna pull your card.
So you got to be.
They'll pull your card.
So you got to be kind of big, probably, but then also you had to like go through all the background checks and blah 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 or something.
Yeah, you have to
so,
do
like, that's
background
cool.
checks and like
Basically,
they said they'll let
not
anybody
be
in.
fake news.
Yeah.
no, just not ask stupid questions at stupid times.
Right. Yeah.
Get some
And
educated people up in there.
yeah. You know what I want to know with that one we were watching earlier with the new press secretary.
Mm-hmm.
You notice the guy's name was Peter.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was that Peter around before now? 'Cause I feel like they literally chose him specifically from that news entity. That might not even be his real name, because Peter, as we know from before,
Not Peter Deuce.
Yeah, he's not Peter Deuce.
There's a few
more,
different
There's
Peters.
more than
But
there's
what
more
I-
than one Peter in the
Right,
world.
right,
I know,
Hey,
but I
you
never heard. What
There
I'm
might
get-
be
what
only
I'm-
one Dieter, but there's many Peters.
What I'm getting at
That's
is
a good
in
personal
the last
tagline.
in the last four, most people that would have been watching would have been more biased on the Biden side. So then when they hear the name Peter, they go, "Oh, that's just Peter,"
It's not
doing the thing.
Ducey. You're
And
you're
now,
on the Deuce.
oh, but they did the switch. So
No,
now
it's
those
not
same
switch.
people.
No,
you're
mistaken, man.
No,
lost.
no,
You're
you.
lost.
No, no,
You're
no, no,
lost
no,
in
no,
the
no.
cloud.
I am not mistaken. You can't understand what I'm talking about,
That's what
so
I'm
it doesn't
asking.
matter. Oh, you can't figure it out. We're just gonna have to keep moving on.
Fuck nobody. He's the guy from somewhere else where his name's Peter.
Yeah.
He's not from Fox.
Yeah, he's
I know that. Oh God. Yeah, never mind. This is above.
I feel like you're going at a Peter conspiracy.
That's what I was going for. Yes.
It's just another guy, man.
look, man, what they did.
No, I know Peter Ducey's still there. Look, you're not gonna figure it out if
Gotcha,
you didn't
gotcha,
already.
gotcha.
So we're gonna move on.
This was a good one
So
from
bump your autistic levels.
This was a good one from do they spell Peter the same way?
As a teaser one.
It's like it's the programming from the TV type of deal, except they're doing it with real people live.
But
So
it was
you're
for
saying
our
they're
side
not
and we were
normally
shutting
real
down,
or not
so
alive?
Who's
Are
they?
they zombies normally?
Yeah, never mind. It's gonna. I'm gonna have to spend
wanna
way too
know.
much time trying to dissect this and explain it to you guys.
Senator Warren was actually ranked over $5.2 million from Big Pharma
Oh, I love her.
in the medical industry complex, and this is what she was trying to say to RFK Jr. Did you guys see this?
So
one?
Oh yeah,
let's do a quick
I love
count
this.
here
He burns
of
her.
how, as Secretary of HHS, if you get confirmed, you could influence every one of those lawsuits. Well, let me start the list. You could publish your anti-vaccine conspiracies, but this time on U.S. government letterhead, something a jury might be impressed by. You could appoint people to the CDC vaccine panel who share your anti-vax views and let them do your dirty work. You could tell the CDC vaccine panel to remove a particular vaccine from the vaccine schedule. You could remove vaccines from special compensation programs, which would open up manufacturers to mass torts. You could make more injuries eligible for compensation, even if there is no causal evidence. You could change vaccine court processes to make it easier to bring junk lawsuits. You could turn over FDA data to your friends at the law firm, and they could use it however it benefited them. You could change vaccine labeling. You could change vaccine information rules. You could change which claims are compensated in the vaccine injury compensation program. There's a lot of ways that you can influence those future lawsuits and pending lawsuits while you are Secretary of HHS. And I'm asking you to commit right now that you will not take a financial stake in every one of those lawsuits so that what you do as Secretary will also benefit you financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You and I, you have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies.
Why do they sound like they're crying every time they get upset, bro? Like, no, I have not.
She always does
They
that.
sound more wavering than his voice, bro. Like,
yeah, she's petty as hell.
and here she is making millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, between her and
what like unscrupulous people, dude. Are you gonna promise to me that you won't benefit from your position? Bitch, you're fucking like. And then Sanders said the same thing.
Yeah,
He was like,
they're the biggest
trying to
hypocrites.
jack on him for
They're
that.
the biggest
dude.
hypocrites.
Oh, it's
you guys
so
taking
painful.
away more money than I am, and I do the more ethical stuff at suing them when they do bad things. Am I not going to sue them when my client wants me to sue them for doing some harm to somebody? No, I'm going to do my job.
And I try not to get too up in arms about this because they're clearly just trying to like click farm, or like clip farm or whatever you would call it, right? Like they're just trying to get a clip where they can be like, "Look at this clip! See, I'm fighting for you. Donate more money to me." Like, I know your ass didn't watch the whole rest of it, so I'll just show you this clip. I got them good, you know, like.
Which I mean, unfortunately, we've seen that it's worked over the last 4 years with all the Trump stuff.
Well, it's good
because they
marketing.
take all of his stuff out of context,
It's
and then
good
they're like, "Look, he's that grab by the pussy. He hates women."
Make an angry clip and then just spread that around and then boop.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the sweet people.
That'd be like saying like a comedian that makes a joke about women only being in the kitchen to make sandwiches should never have a wife or some shit, but he's probably happily married and she's probably glad to make him a sandwich.
That's right.
Speaking of comedy, I had a good comedy relief. Maybe it's time for that one. We love a good sandwich joke.
Yeah, especially Trolley. He loves them.
He loves
them misogynistic women should only be in the kitchen jokes.
He couldn't hang tonight. I thought it would be funny to like put him on mute for a while, and he freaked out.
Yeah, that's just what happens when you be obnoxious.
I thought it'd be funny. It's pretty funny. He lost his mind and he hasn't showed back up. He got his old account out. Oh, this is pretty funny. The only thing better than just seen this when you land on the office of Kamala Harris's webpage for the United States government would be if this went to a Rickroll.
Oh my God. This page has been unburdened by what has been, and it's still it's an unburdening page.
This is awesome, bro. So everyone's dying that Donald Trump's got the most down to earth / joking in touch with reality administration ever. Okay, here it is. Comedic relief. Ah, it shared the wrong link. This is not as funny.
Not exactly comedic relief.
No, big fail. Swing and a miss. What was it? Mr. Hegseth here took away Millie's Secret Service clearance.
Well, good for him. He don't need any anyways.
Yeah. He got fully in, though. Pretty nuts, man.
Yeah, which we need him in there.
Yeah, but Millie's a real piece of work.
Oh, yeah, this is the other one, man. They got, they found, TikTokers bragging that they had a federal job, and then they also had, a side job that they were doing, and then they were not working the federal job.
Oh, I seen that, yeah.
And then they're using, the fake mouse movers for remote jobbers and everything. So now he's like, we're going to go through, we're going to interview people, and you're going to have to prove to me that you didn't have another job.
I
that
seen...
sucks. I'd be salty AM, dude.
I seen one of those where they had, a government job where they worked from home, and then somebody seen them out working another job, a day job somewhere else. So you're getting double paid?
Yeah, bro. Good hustle, but shady business, man.
Not when you're supposed to be caring about your federal job.
Yeah. And then we're like, why does the world suck? Because assholes are doing stuff like that.
Why is Trump and Elon Musk cutting all these people's jobs? Because we're paying them to do nothing.
And that's what happens when you shut down all businesses and make everybody stay at home, and then make all the laws where it's more legal to work from home.
Yeah.
Stuff that Biden did.
So you can stay in the pod.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's kind of
they got no
Biden's
work
fault.
ethic these days, and that's what I was going to try to talk in earlier. Is that back in the day, people used to easily work 12 to 15-hour days. Okay?
Well, that's
and
nowadays
nowadays
internet,
you can
though.
barely get them to even go to a job to work an 8-hour day. Now they sit at home working,
Well, that's
and they think they need all this and all that pay, and
that's the drawback of being able to see that other people can do less for still making money. So then everybody has a false reality of thinking they should be able to do that. So then instead of figuring out you had to do something good enough to be able to physically work less, they're like, I'll just bitch about it and not do nothing.
Yep.
And then cheat the system.
No, put in more at the effort and you'll get farther in life.
I just love how people are like, how can Trump fire? He's not their boss, this and that, blah, blah.
He's the
Y'all
boss
don't
of the
understand how our country works then.
Well, then they were
go
trying
back
to
to
say-
school, because he is ultimately the supervisor of everybody in the country.
The executive.
Yeah, we're technically all working in the same corporation, no matter if you're in this business, this or that. Yeah. And head boss
He like
is
CEO.
Yeah, you think the owner of your company is your boss? No, the president is your ever over the top boss.
Well, he's just
Because
mainly the boss of the military, but he is in
Yeah, the
control of
executive
everything for the executive branch, which is the
FBI, right?
No, he's the general of the
What's
army.
the FBI under?
FBI would be underneath the
Because the three branches are
judicial. It'll be under
Judicial,
they'll be under the
executive,
judicial branch.
executive, judicial, and congressional.
Yeah. Congressional is the Senate and state. It'd be under that. That's what they would be under.
What branch is FBI?
It would be underneath
The DOJ.
Part of the DOJ, which
Department
is,
of Justice, which would be the ones that
That's got to be under the military.
no, it's gonna be judicial, which goes and prosecutes the laws. And the judges and stuff like that, I would think. Or it's
Wait,
not even
what are
put
the
on it.
3 branches?
That's what I thought you were just gonna Google.
Legislative, judicial, and legislative.
Right?
Yeah, right there, just like I said.
Okay, so they're under judicial.
I'm pretty sure they're under judicial. Because executive is just
Why does
president,
it not say that when I type in the F
and then
Gotta learn how to work that Google.
yeah. And judicial is all the judges and stuff like that, and then the Senate is underneath the legislative. With the because the legislator makes
Yeah.
the
well, they're like the lawmakers.
Executive.
yeah.
Yeah, no, see, I was right. Bang. FBI is under executive.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because
Oh, okay.
they're a part of the DOJ, and the DOJ is.
Part of the president.
Because I feel like all policing and stuff needs to be under like
They have to
Executive.
execute the law.
so they can find he
The
can do whatever he
judicial
wants in there.
system finds justice.
But then
and
they were also bitching about him not giving them 30 days. They're supposed to give everybody like 30 days, and it's like,
Yeah,
that's
no,
so sad.
not when you.
sue me, bro.
Yeah, not when you went and busted in my house and investigated me for all this, fake crap. Yeah, I'm gonna cut your check today. Sorry.
Yeah, which is tricky, man, because I don't like people coming back like just I'm gonna get revenge or whatever. But I'm on the team of revenge for this.
I'm on the
No.
team.
I'm biased on this one, bro. I
you
think
try
they,
to-
I
you
think
try
they
to
did a
get
bunch
me?
of shady shit, and they need to be like
Well,
cut out. Cut out the
because
game,
it shouldn't be looked at as that exactly. It should be looked at. Everybody is gonna want the kid that's getting bullied, just nonstop by a bully to be able to win again, come back against his bullies. And this was Trump's bully, and
Right.
nothing ever happened. And so generally, you have to take revenge into your own hands. The
Damn.
You were supposed to keep talking. I was gonna be background music.
Yeah. No, can't do it.
Can you take that? Can you?
And you take them all
Can't
away.
quite
Get the
do it.
revenge.
And you knocked them dead. You took them all out.
I gotta be less funny with my backup music.
Yeah, I couldn't focus. It was too funny. Yeah.
Too good, too good.
Don't pay attention. Audio from the Reagan airport confirms that American Airlines was cleared to land when the authorities warned the Black Hawk of the incoming traffic. So it does seem like it was the inexperienced Black Hawk,
Pilot, like I was saying earlier. before the
right?
show. Yeah.
Which
The,
I haven't heard that it was a female, but you heard it was a female.
Yeah,
but we both
it's
heard
out
that they'd
she's
only
a
been working
female,
for like 6
and that
months.
she was like 28 years old, and she's only been flying for like, 6-8 months or something like that, and that she was in
That's a bummer, bro, because they all
the
gone now, right?
Biden White House.
Again, weird that we
just
can
before.
say it's even a female. I didn't know that we knew what a woman was. And now all of a sudden, they're just saying woman this, woman that. Like the left side people are just saying woman, 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 woman. It's like,
Well, now
wait,
the
hold
law-
on a minute.
They
I
knew there,
thought
they knew
like
there was
anybody
women
could have
out
been
there,
a
but they
woman,
didn't
and we
know
didn't
if
know
you were
what a woman
transgender
was.
or not. That's the difference.
Well, that-
There's women, there's trans, and there's about 10 other different things in between too. But they said this one wasn't a woman, I guess.
Did you guys see the Cash highlights?
Oh, I seen a few of them. He got some good ones on him.
Benny Johnson's good with the.
Friends, join us!
I think I seen this.
We have a spectacle! Also, it took 3 months to build, so I don't want to waste it.
Send them away.
I give you the War Wolf!
It's the best.
These intros are gold, man. I thought this was a pretty good one where he got
right
some.
there, right there.
He got some Cash clips that were pretty good
I am
here.
so glad we're not in the times of swords and catapult.
Bro, straight up.
I don't know. I might like it. Yeah,
I
Bro,
think
life
I'd
would
rather.
suck.
I think
we
I'd
wouldn't
rather
be
get my
talking shit on a podcast.
Well, more
No electronics, no
I'm more
electronics.
thinking about me being on the battlefield. I'd much rather possibly get domed by a 308 than get set on fire and half domed by a flaming cow or a flaming, rock of some sort,
Not just be
or
taken
a,
out.
or a
Wait,
sword
could be
shoved
like the
through my
Holy Grail.
entire appendix, up through my ribcage and out through my back, and then go to bleed out. Like, I'd much rather have a bullet just my noggin, and then poof, my lights got turned off. A lot less, painful and stuff like that. I'd rather not have a double-sided axe get hurled into my chest, and then I just
You
just
could
laying
just
there
be
on the
like-
battlefield, just
like 5 hours.
It's just a flesh wound.
oh, it hurts.
It's all right.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
No, what are you worried about, Dan? We're gonna bring you back here.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's just a flesh
just,
wound.
just a minor surgery. There might be a little small infection. Might have to lose a couple ribs.
Yeah. By the way, we can't heal any of this.
You'll probably not
Where's the
die.
mage?
You probably won't die until you get gangrene and it finally gets you, like months down the road.
Oh shit, you got it.
The Japanese were smart about the day. They just knew about infections, all that stuff. They're like, dude, you get cut, like your leg cut off? Nah, dude, like, you don't want the future. Just go ahead and end yourself now. Like, except apparently they didn't know about the jugular back then, or it's just something about the ritual of the stomach.
Yeah,
Because
something
that's
about being strong.
Yeah. It was that you could take the pain and then
I believe
die
so.
the nice slow way.
Well, I mean,
and that makes you a real true warrior.
generally that was not because you got injured. That was because you
suck.
You cowered it away from battle. So it was like, oh yeah, you're not gonna let them do it. Now you have to do it to yourself.
You dishonored your family.
yeah.
That was the biggest thing.
All right, here we go with the Cash clips.
Are often misleading and detrimental to this committee's advice and consent
Well,
process.
if you consent, I would love to have 5 hours of questions, and then I could
this is a
read
good
the
one.
whole transcript.
You've got 2 minutes.
Wow.
You've got 2 minutes.
And I certainly don't believe that an individual who is the first minority to serve as the Deputy Director of National Intelligence for this country is a racist in any way. And I detest any conjecture to the contrary.
Oh,
Kash Patel, straight up gangster. Just a gangster. The way that he handled the questions, the way that he handled everything that was thrown at him, it was just absolute tip of the spear. Sharp, ladies and gentlemen. It's sharp. Whew.
Did you hear that what they called him too?
But nothing was better than this. When Kash Patel decided to take the entire racist, are you a racist? Are you a white supremacist? First generation immigrant from India or Africa or whatever. His family is like freaking United Nations, okay? He took the entire question off the table, which is genius, by reading some of the hatred that the left has sent him, including, and
okay, get to it.
Here's Kash Patel, ladies and gentlemen. The Senate goes silent.
Been subject to racism as an individual.
Unfortunately, Senator, yes. I don't want to get into those details with my family here.
Let's get into a few of them.
He said, "Oh, you're gonna make me do this with my family here? Thanks."
Tell me about it.
Well, if you look at the record from January 6th, where I testified before that committee, because of my personal information being released by Congress, I was subjected to a direct and significant threat on my life. And I put that information in the record.
Trolls like Trolly in the chat.
I had to move. In that threat, I was called a detestable, and I'll apologize if I don't get it all right, but it's in the record, a detestable back to where you came from. You belong with your terrorist home friends. That's what was sent to me.
And he said the full word with the hard R in the Senate chamber.
And the people calling him this were these people of
leftist nature,
equality and non-diversity
Ain't that
and
racist?
everything.
Like insanity, bro.
Oh, and a lot of people. One quick thing. Easiest way when somebody says Trump is a racist, somebody's out, at the grocery store, whatever. You want to have a little talky talk with people, and they go, "Yeah, Trump's all racist. Like he called this. It's all because of DEI and blah blah blah. This is a problem. He's racist. He wants only white people in his cabinets. He's a white supremacist." Scoreboard. Scoreboard. Nominee, not a white guy.
Carolyn
Other
Levitt,
nominee,
Bondi.
not a white person. They're the only one that's
Tulsi
white.
Gabbard.
Yeah, she's not white. A lot of people would probably think she's white. Guess what? You're racist because you're probably also the same one that thinks Kamala's black when she said she's black because she's not.
Oh, from India.
Yeah, she's like half or something.
No,
like
she's
that.
only 100% Indian.
No.
Her dad is too, yeah.
What? No, but he's like a dark African American guy.
That was Jamaican, if anything.
His family.
Yeah, but that's still African
but his
American
mom
descent.
was
kind of, but
Indian,
still.
and his other grandma was mostly white
Right.
and Irish.
But
Right,
hey,
right.
I'm only going off of what what Wikipedia and what her public info had been put on her actual professional qualifications of back in the day.
Right.
She said she was Indian.
Right.
Like when, which we all have to at some point, your driver's license, whatever it is, white, Hispanic, black, Alaskan, other, she picked Indian.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, these years later, now she's black.
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, I sure wish I could just all of a sudden be black. Like, but I can't. It doesn't work that way.
I was from about like 2003 till about like
Yeah.
That's just
time
a
I
piece of it.
graduated.
You got
But
sun
that's
baked,
nothing.
sun bleached.
No, I just listened to a lot of rap.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to get at.
I was saying since then because you're white again.
No, sure.
Yeah, you've just been sun bleached then.
Yeah, it's like Two-Face,
Yeah.
but bleach.
Compared to what the men and women in law enforcement face every day. And that's why they have my support.
You would be shocked to learn that the
Yeah, bro, absolutely bonkers. So they kept trying to get him, bro. That lady was annoying. There's another good one. I don't know. It was good, bro. He just kind of kept doing that. He kept tearing him down. Yeah, Shifty Shift, bro. He tries to tear him down.
Beat them with
He's a
polls.
moron.
Tell them you're
Yes,
proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're
He
right
loves
there.
getting burned.
They're guarding you
So
today.
this guy's brain dead argument. Now,
He's every
if,
single army.
if
he
I was
has
trying to
been
come at
dead.
somebody, maybe I'd try to use this too, maybe. But Kash Patel produced a record or a song of the J6 choir doing songs, and then he made a 501c3 nonprofit organization, took all the proceeds, donated it to the J6ers and their families, right? And so Schiff's trying to make an argument that the head of the FBI is a total piece of shit because he took money from J6ers that punched police officers and beat up cops. And do you think that's a good thing for the head director of the FBI to do?
Probably better than the ones that were on the ground stirring up the insurrection. Stirring up the insurrection.
You know, bro, like
Quote unquote insurrection for those that are just listening and not watching.
So that's what's aggravating, right, dude? Is like he's trying to just make him look bad because he made a 501c.
Oh, you mean
and then,
normal left game politics?
So then he was trying to say, oh, you were giving this money back to the people that beat up the police, and it's like, bruh. Even if I did, maybe that's what I wanted to do, but like, it didn't get them out of jail, so they still were punished. And then, what happened to the left that was trying to fund all the people getting out of jail for, like,
punished and killed,
blowing up the small business buildings and looting and rioting and murdering
you mean what
36
Kamala Harris
people?
was doing?
Right.
Kamala Harris, 100%.
They were putting into a
funded
fund
people money
to
and
get
stuff
people
like that,
bailed
and
out of
paid 'em
jail.
out.
This was not to bail them out of jail.
Let's just say if it was an insurrection and these people meant violence, the scoreboard would not have been you can only say, you have to say one cop technically died from the insurrection, but it wasn't even on the same day. It was a day later or whatever because he was in critical care. And that was
What, a
because
heart attack and he didn't even die.
Yeah,
Somebody did get a concussion.
That was
and then he died like the next day.
I didn't hear the concussion one. I heard basically they more than likely had the shot and then they had heart complications and then they went off. But
So then it was the
there
shot that
was
killed them, not anything else.
But they murdered Ashley Babbitt on spot.
And the Renee woman who got trampled because the cops stuck her down into the.
And let's not forget the prisoners that were then beat to death by prison guards and other people in the jail. So
there's people that were beat to death?
Yes.
In the jail?
Yes.
I never heard of that.
Well, and let's not forget the one. I think
young
his
man.
name was Kyle. I might be mistaken, but they killed themselves because of just utter fear.
Yeah, that one sucks.
Yeah. So, I mean, and remember the beaten to death was. I'm pretty sure there was a couple
there were 6
before.
other cops that died from this, like afterwards.
No.
It was like multiple days after, and you're like, dude, how many days after? Like, can you correlate?
committed
this?
suicide after
And then
themselves.
you're not in jail being beaten.
Well, see, that
Like you
was
weren't beaten.
actually what it was. The ones that died after was because they had offed themselves because they realized what had happened and realized how outrageous and egregious it
There
was.
were like 2 or 3 of them were suicides. I
Yeah.
didn't know that until like just recent.
But
Of the cops. Like what?
Yeah, but now they were going to get released, and we heard and seen a body leave the prison where the J6ers were under a tarp on a stretcher. You generally know what that means. Like he's probably no longer with us, and that was because the guards were assaulting them just because they were going to be getting out. So who's the real party of violence here?
100%, bro.
It's not the Republicans.
100%.
It's the side that's like, yeah, no violence, this and that. Yet y'all are the first to do violence.
That's very true.
Every time. Man, there's just so many pots. So many pots out there.
Okay, tell them how proud you are.
That's an abject lie, and you know it. I've never, ever accepted violence against law enforcement. I've worked with these men and women, as you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schiff also can get it.
Well, let me.
How about you ask them if I have their backs, and let's see about that
Let me ask
answer.
you this,
I
Mr.
really wish the camera panned to them, dude. I wanted to see what their reaction was because he's got 16 years of experience of working with the FBI agents, man. So like, or maybe not all 16 years, but got several years of working with them. I'm pretty sure they're like buddy, man. So again, the dirty Democrats just looking to try and clip farm and get like some kind of shareable gotcha or something.
Yeah, it's too
but
bad. Basically,
didn't work.
If you have anything of political power and you're from California, it sucks for. Hopefully, somebody in the future can really turn things around because everybody's just gonna just know, especially if you got a Democrat in front of your name and you come from California, you're just a piece of garbage. You're just a little garbagey. If you in the actual political sector, not saying if you're just a Democrat from California, you're just you're getting all the misinformation shoved down your throat so hard and so far through literal everyday living circumstances. I can't blame you for possibly not seeing things in a different way. Because when you're pre-programmed so hard like that, that's just what's going to unfortunately possibly happen for a lot of them.
Tricky, man, but you do got to put more effort into trying to break out that effing brainwashing. Gosh darn it.
Yep.
This one, I think, I kind of remember this guy, but a lot of it flew under my radar, and it made me feel disappointed that we haven't been promoting this guy for 9/11 Truth, bro, because this dude has written books. 2 of his buddies that were also doing this died. They've died.
Mm-hmm.
And, and the guy points out he was a congressman, and he was like pivotal in the like 9/11 committee, and he was pushing hard and getting shut down, and he tells the whole story. He's got a book that we should totally get and read for good fun. And the one thing that stuck out to me that was absolutely bonkers is he was trying to press to the United States government that they have clerical evidence that's been unredacted now, that they took bin Laden to a different place than Afghanistan, and we 100% knew it, which means we sent our men into Afghanistan
for no reason,
knowingly there was no bin Laden there.
Well, yeah, because
that's what we all speculate, right?
Well, what they tried speculating to us regular people watching the tube.
That's insanity.
Because I mean, we know what really was over there and everything. I mean, the first thing was weapons of mass destruction. That's what he was mainly saying was supposed to be over there.
Right.
Which he wasn't lying exactly, depending on what they found in the caves, which we were really looking for. The the scrolls and some old ancient tech and a whole bunch of things.
Let's hear a little bit of this guy.
Copy of his book. On page 27, he's interviewed by the author. General, what were your feelings when 9/11 happened? And General Keith Lambert says on page 27, within seconds, I knew who had done the attack. I knew it involved Muhammad Atta because I had been briefed on a top secret intelligence program run by the Army. Yet there's none of that in the 9/11 Commission report. Zelikow led a whitewash. Tony Schaefer, who was one of the lead people on the Able Danger team, and I wrote the manuscript for that. They tried to ruin his career. He wrote his book called Dark Heart. It was okayed by his commanding general. And then the deep state found out he was writing a book. So you know what they did? They bought all 10,000 copies of the first edition of Dark Heart with taxpayer money, and they destroyed them. Then they let Tony publish the book Redacted. I had Tony on my podcast. I'll get him on your podcast if you want him. Lieutenant Colonel, Bronze Star recipient, American hero. And Tony testified under oath. He testified to me. I said, Tony, when you published your book, you had a redacted version and the original version. What did they want out of your book? What was so sensitive? They didn't want Zelikow's name in his book. They didn't want the public to know that Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer and his team had briefed the 9/11 Commission on what they knew before 9/11. I'm telling you right now, without any hesitation, 9/11 Commission was a deliberate cover-up.
And this dude goes on for 30 minutes on the good old Jimmy Dore show, man. If you're not familiar, follow Jimmy Dore. He's a classical liberal guy, but he's into like truth and logic. So good one to follow if you're into that kind of stuff, or well round out your news feed. But he does good news coverage and shit. But he had this guy on this week, and I forget about this guy, and I didn't know a lot of the shit that he was talking about in just this 30 minutes. And I was like, I gotta get that one loaded into the mind bullet chambers there for 9/11 talks.
Some blast from the past.
Very interesting.
Yeah, blasts from the past.
Yeah, no joke, right?
They literally were blasts.
This is that rumor about the helicopter being possibly remote controlled. Had you guys hear that?
I didn't hear that part, but I'm telling you, you watch this view, bro, you don't see that big old light coming in, you're going straight in. You got more than 60 seconds, 70 seconds.
It's from the Infowars.com, so it could be true, could be not, but we're talking about it, folks.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, I can see that big old light.
Crazy.
And I know how to drive a helicopter. I don't know how, but I know that Blackhawks can maneuver up, down, side to side, very, very easy. And that was a direct hit.
That's such a bummer. It just was like right into the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're just not that. Maybe they know and they're not saying they knew what happened because maybe,
Just like the drones. You see, they talked about the drones the other day.
I mean, we're in the age.
Some of them were cleared by the FCC. Some of them were like random people, like no big deal. I was like, dude, Trump's. I thought you were gonna tell us, man.
Yeah, that
like,
was some bullshit ass answer, bro.
I know,
that
right?
was like the most. I was like so dumbfounded. I'm like, really?
If it was a younger
Really?
person, what very likely could have happened was, all right, we gotta fly the chopper up. All right, I got about 5 minutes before I gotta get. Okay, sweet. I get the sweet TikTok.
No.
Oh yeah. Look at me flying this Black Hawk. Oh yeah, look at this. Woo! I'm flying Black Hawk. I'm the first youngest.
Please, no.
They might have been texting and flying.
I hope not.
They might have been talking and flying. Talking and flying.
Wait, does Android Auto work when you fly a plane?
Right? Did they have? I don't know.
Android
have they?
pilot?
You'd sure think it's got to get in everything nowadays, right? It's in our cars. It's in like everywhere, our homes. Because all of a sudden you're, if you got a camper, not a camper, a motorhome, that's what it'd be. Android Auto and everything, including our Blackhawks.
Hey man, all you gotta do is plug it in, man.
And you know why it's Android Auto? Because it's better than Apple Play.
CarPlay or whatever, yeah.
It's because Android's a superior technology. The military uses Android Auto, not Apple Play. because Apple just isn't as good as Android.
And all the Apple fanboys' heads just exploded.
Yep. I had to poke some buttons there. We're probably about to lose half of our viewership. Like, oh hell no, they making fun of Apple. Nope, can't support them. I like Steve Jobs way
I don't know.
too much.
If you're hanging out here on Rumble, it's probably more likely you have an Android phone.
More than likely.
All tech, man. Yeah, this is the deep state training that we wanted the first round, man. Certainly fuel for twisting into some sort of a dictator narrative by the deep state media mouse, but removing of themselves from the corrupt government positions is how we get a healthy America. I think this is basically what we were already kind of talking about, how they're clearing out the feds. Yeah, Trump's deep state bloodbath lasts 24 hours, and this is like a couple days ago or some shit. All federal prosecutors handling J6 cases fired. Computers locked and marched out of their offices by security. Dan Sundberg, the FBI assistant director at the helm of January 6 investigations, fired. 20 leaders of the FBI field offices have been escorted out of the FBI buildings around the country. 51 intelligence officers who spread misinformation about the Hunter Biden laptop and interfered with the elections are now banned from entering federal properties. I didn't know that part. I didn't know that. That's like a little extra, right?
They better have all their clearances pulled too, so they can't remotely go in.
Federal employees are now required to return to the office with non-compliance leading to termination. John Bolton and John Brennan have been permanently banned from government buildings. Gerald Harold Rogers. I thought that was like an unfortunate first middle name. Gerald Harold. No, I didn't mistype my name twice, people. Rogers has been indicted for compromising U.S. trade secrets to China. Ban on all use of pronouns in government communications, which I think may have forced Pete Buttigieg to remove his pronouns from his Twitter bio. That is no longer in his
I've been hearing a lot of people have dropped their pronouns.
All 2 million feds sent a resignation offer.
I think the one I heard recently was Kamala. Hers are actually dropped them now.
Didn't we cover AOC dropped them like a couple weeks ago, even before this? Yeah. 11 days in, and the swamp has started to be drained. So I mean, I don't know, man. If you're not a big fan of the deep state, I'd say this is a real big positive right now, man. I hope to God we can keep the momentum going.
It's kind of weird, a president like actually fulfilling things he said he was going to do during his campaign.
That one's really interesting. I've seen a bunch of clips
of
mainstream TV where they're like one of the people's like, oh my God, the Trump man doing these things, and the other one's like being weird, level-headed, and he's like, actually, I don't know why you're upset. He's just he told all of this stuff was coming. Like we knew this is what he campaigned on. Like it's like
he's not gonna do it.
The man's saying logic right now on the CNN. That's crazy. Might have something to do with the ratings being in the trash.
Yeah.
Like,
well, did you
said they
see
were gonna deport them all? Now they're deporting them all. No.
Did you see the head? Is it Jim Acosta or whatever?
Well, he was the main like guy that would always attack Trump kind of thing.
Yeah, but
they put him
I guess
to midnight, and then now he resigned.
Yeah, he's going independent.
Yeah,
just like what was it? Don Lemon went independent, and we've seen how well that worked for him.
Yeah.
That lasted like what, a week and a half?
No, he's still doing it, but it's just trash, bro.
Like what? Less views than we have?
My favorite, bro. My favorite. Not quite. We still suck.
We still don't have that much traction.
But the funniest, bro, was he was trying to do man on the street, and he's talking to a guy, and he's like, yeah, but like this. And the guy's like, oh my God, bro, you must watch CNN or something.
Not knowing who he is.
Not even knowing who it was.
Well, I used to work there, but I got fired. What do you mean?
Yeah, no, I was the guy that like spread the bullshit.
I'm the reason why.
I'm a professional CNN liar.
I'm still trying to do it here.
Yeah,
oh, dude, that had me dying. It was just some random guy, bro. Just punked him, didn't even know it.
Got fired. I still don't even know why.
Oh, I was dying.
You go woke, you go broke.
It is very true. More egregious, criminal aliens being an absolute tragedy. White House just released a video of moms whose children were murdered by illegals in response to Selena Gomez crying over deportation.
Oh, the
I was
Selena
gonna bring her up
crying.
earlier too.
That was
Yep.
so gaudy.
Yep.
And
got
she
torn down,
already
bro.
took it down.
Yep,
she took it
deleted
down almost immediately.
But
Well,
she's
bro,
a-
she was born here in America.
She's
Her
an
like
actor. Yeah.
her mom's
Absolutely.
American and her dad's Mexican, and she was trying to
So
say
her,
like
her
my
mom's
people-
Italian.
She's Italian.
Yeah, I heard it
Interesting.
earlier today.
So it was about
My
her
mom's
dad.
Italian, dad's a Mexican. I don't know if he was born here or an immigrant here. But they live in like multi-million
Yeah,
dollar
nah,
house,
they're
like
ballers.
$30 million
Well,
house.
she was crying that all her workers were like going away or something. But I was
she
like,
said,
bruh.
she said my people. It was just
I know, right?
Mexican people, and it was
Yeah.
like, I mean, yeah, some of them, but the majority of them, well, maybe not majority, a whole big chunk that we're actually worried about are not Mexicans.
And the point of this bit is we don't see stupid ass celebrities or any other mainstream kind of like media piece crying about these poor people that had their effing children raped and murdered by
Yeah.
the criminal aliens.
Also,
Like what the F, bro?
Also, Selena, why
that-
were you just saying your people? I feel that might be a little racist, a little bigoted. What about all the other ones? You only have the emotions for the one side? That sounds not very equalistic.
And clearly no
And a
feelings for the
yeah,
mothers.
yeah, not very
Yeah.
compassionate because
Like crazy.
oh what you got deported? Oh what? But you're still alive? What about these kids and all
Yeah,
these other
bro.
family members that got killed because
Yeah.
of your people? Your people killed them?
Yeah, crazy.
Well,
Did she put the
goodbye.
wrong flag there? Was that the Italian flag?
Well, yeah, I told you. She's Italian.
Okay, that's Mexico's flag. What's the Italian
But-
flag? They're like the
Oh,
same colors.
I'm
It's
pretty sure it's the
vertical.
same, just vertical.
Yeah, I
not
think it's
horizontal.
vertical though, right?
Yeah.
Or
But
horizontal, not vertical.
they said they had a whole bunch of protesters in California, and they had the Mexican flag, and they
Wait,
had
no, it's the same.
No, it's not, because Mexico has a symbol in the middle in the white.
That's the only difference.
Also, maybe it's red first. No, it's the same, just the. either.
it's the same one with the bird in the middle.
So really,
They just put the American seal? I'm confused.
low key, Mexico and Italy have been fighting for the best food on the planet. they're
That's actually
like,
a good
Oh,
one.
Italy kicks them in the dirt, bro. Like, there's no comparison there, in my humble opinion.
No,
What's
I
Mexico
don't
got? Like
know.
menudo?
Tacos.
I mean, all sorts of different
Tacos? They didn't
stuff.
even invent tacos, bro. Like,
Dude, it would. I could be there for
you got like
months.
pasti rigatoni, you got braised beef tortelloni,
You got
like
pizza.
ravioli, you got a spaghetti.
And then you got.
We did pizza.
And then you have sopas. Then you just have. You could have simply sopas.
Sopas,
Sounds a
come on now.
lot less, than the whole Italian with the accent thing. But then you taste it and you're like, well, gosh dang, my taste buds are really having a difficult time here. I mean, I think I could eat this like 4 times a week and the other thing 3 times. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I just like a lot of like pasta Italian food,
Yeah,
but like
I
a
love pasta
good
too.
marinara sauce, bro, kind of beats a lot of foods, dog. It's just like something
does.
about
A
that shit.
really
like,
good salsa just, really.
I don't think it beats out marinara sauce. You don't put sausage in salsa. You,
You know,
put
there's
sausage in
nothing like some good garlic Italian bread, you know.
No,
you
like a
can't
good
beat it.
Italian bread.
Oh,
Gotta
you
go to the
can't beat it.
garlic bread memes.
Ah, damn. What does the chat think, man? Put it down in the live chat. What do you think, man? Mexican food or Italian food?
food.
What is better? And who did the flag better?
Yeah, who did the flag
Right,
better?
yeah.
And who had it first?
Italy.
Oh, I don't know.
They didn't found Mexico until later.
But what was it?
What's the Spanish
I guess
flag?
they
What,
did-
what
yeah, they
was the
didn't find-
Italian? What was the Italian flag, and how long has it been that way?
Since like the beginning of time, right?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
why doesn't it look like
Sometimes
Spain?
flags-
Spain's the one that took them over. We don't like that Spain started us, so we're just gonna look like Italy did.
But they think they're what? Island off of
I mean, the
Italy.
colors are supposed to mean things like on the flags. The different colors have meanings for different things. So maybe that's just what
They just aligned with Italy.
or they have same values maybe as Italian people. Food is basically life. Family is life, and
Okay, 18.
then obviously they like organized crime organizations.
Yeah.
They were like,
but-
we're gonna make a seal.
They got the mafia, and then they got the
cartel.
Italy beat them.
Okay.
1797.
What was Italy's flag before that? Can you see that?
Was it different before then?
Yeah, probably.
I don't
wasn't.
know.
I also think it's wild that not that far ago, all the things that we think are like just have been like in stone
Forever. Or
Yeah.
only like 200-300 years.
You know, dude.
Like not our grandparents, but our grandparents' grandparents, which is only like,
dude.
2 generations, 3 generations back.
That one looks cooler.
That
At least
that
got
one
like an
looks
emblem
cooler.
in it.
Yeah.
It says 1868 on it.
1789.
That was like the OG original. And then
Yeah.
this flag for some reason has like 1868 on it.
No, that one looks cooler.
Anyways, slight tangent. What'd the chat say, man? Mexican food or Italian food?
No, I don't see any.
No
votes
one's
yet.
playing the game. Lame. My Rumble keeps breaking, so I have to close it so I can like chat in the Rumble.
Mine is probably also broke, but I'm not gonna close it and then reopen it just in case, because then everything disappears.
Well, on the chat it'll disappear?
Yeah, well, not always, but sometimes. Yeah, it'll like only bring up like a
Half of
a
them?
page or
A page?
something. Yeah. That's part of Rumble being the alt tech. They still have some bugs to work out, but the more, you know what?
That one's just live chat. That'll do that on stupid YouTube too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think just live chat's complicated.
It's probably a data hog in their servers, and they only have so many servers. They got a whole lot going on.
Yeah, 10% tariffs for China.
Which I don't see how theirs are the smallest.
Right. We got the most shit from them.
Yeah, because we get so much from them. Otherwise,
so we hit them
a whole
hard.
lot more shit in
I know, right?
America would be a whole lot more than.
Because I feel like that people are like, oh, you know, they're only making tax cuts for the rich people. They're not giving us tax cuts for the small guys. Okay, so the small guys are getting worse tariffs, and the big guy that we do law business gets a small tariff. It'd be like the same concept. People complaining. The bigger people should be paying more. If we do more business with China, they should be paying more.
I think it should be like taxes, bro. Just like one fee for everybody.
And a lot of people think that. Andy Frisella is a big, strong believer on that. Like about 10%, everybody just pays their 10% tax.
Yeah.
And if you don't pay if you're not paying taxes, you can't vote.
I know, right? I thought this was a good idea. To balance the national debt as Elon presents here. But don't forget about the number one way to stop inflation, and that's just to stop printing money. Number two is probably end the Federal Reserve, then balance the budget, in my humble opinion. But here, Mr. Elon was saying they're reducing the federal deficit by $2 trillion, from $2 trillion to $1 trillion in the fiscal year 2026, requires cutting an average of $4 billion a day in projected 2026 spending from now to September 30th. That would still result in a $1 trillion deficit, but economic growth should be able to match that number, which would mean no inflation in 2026.
No, it's almost like if you paid attention to the economy when Trump got into office a while back, things went good.
Yeah, isn't that what happened?
He did tariffs, and tariffs were so bad, except everybody was making money. Things were good. We had
that.
We had a surplus in the government.
You're right, and nobody knew about those tariffs. Like nobody brought up the word tariff for like
ever
8 years until now, right,
Yeah.
dude? Like,
I swear there's a switch for when he's in and out of office, like at the news places. They're like, it's just some algorithm they've already built into all their media. So they're like, oh, look, he's back in. Flip the switch.
well, I don't even remember them bitching about tariffs in the first term, did they?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember them griping about it in the media.
Yeah,
He
they're
didn't make it
like,
as big as
prices are
deal.
going to
It's
soar.
because they had Russiagate and everything else going
I know,
on.
right,
you know?
bro? Jeez.
It was hard to remember because, yeah, I mean, they threw everything they could at him.
Yeah, no joke.
And it's only grown over the years, and now people have got to dig so far to find anything out, and then they don't want to because, like I was saying before, we don't have time. One, because inflation's worse, we got to work more. So then
Work,
it
wife,
all,
kids, wife,
yeah.
blah, blah,
Then
blah.
choosing your
Maybe a
sources
hobby.
of truth becomes kind of a pretty big important thing.
The other annoying one is they didn't mention that Biden did not remove the tariffs on China from Trump's presidency.
Yeah, if they were so bad,
they were too good.
Yeah, if they were so bad, why do you keep them?
Yeah, they were too good, man, too good. But hey, man,
Well, if
Elon
he
is
hadn't,
already
he couldn't have
saving us a
claimed
bunch
to
of
win.
money with that Doge, you know.
Yeah.
He wants to get rid of our penny, and I like the penny though.
The which one?
They said it cost 3 cents to make the penny.
Yeah.
So if we get rid of the penny, we could save $1 million,
Yeah.
$30 million a year making
There's a
pennies.
bunch of hippies in Cali that have been trying to do that. So there's a bunch of stores that don't even like bother with pennies. So they're like, we don't take them.
Oh, well,
Man,
you don't know how to do business, right?
That's a sad day.
I just round up or round down.
Yeah. Oh.
Sad
That's
day
what
for the
happens with
penny.
inflation, though.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
Is that our national debt right now, huh?
This is the national debt, but here's our Doge clock. This was only like 2 million last time we looked at it, or 2 billion,
It was 2 billion. Or,
right?
No, it was like
A week ago.
it was like several hundred million.
Oh, it wasn't even a billion yet.
I can't
There's
remember.
54 billion right now.
Yeah, right.
Looks like we got to look back at our last episode.
So if we could slow down these numbers and speed up this number, that's good. U.S. federal debt to GDP in the 60s was 53%. In the 80s, it was 34%. 2000, 59%. And right now, 122%. That's crazy.
Well, the Doge clock is growing faster than the federal spending.
I don't know about
that.
No, yeah. Watch just the 9 and the 1.
I think it is moving a little bit faster.
It is. It's moving a little faster.
That's a good start, bruh.
We are going places.
That's a good
This time
start.
next week, we'll see where we're at.
I hope that one's
Right, yeah.
accurate.
Yeah, this time next week, we'll see where we're at.
Federal tax revenue. Where's the external revenue service? I wanna
Right
get
there.
that
Oh, yeah,
one.
they don't have that. That's gonna come next year.
I want to see about that one. In.
Hey, look at that charitable donation.
Wait, we're just charitable donating?
I wonder if that's just like
I don't want them
charity
donating
money
my
in general.
I don't want them donating my money to charity.
What? Why don't you want 50 million of our taxpayer dollars to fund condoms for Gaza?
No, right. So they can make bombs. That's what they're actually doing with them.
Imagine
They're actually using the condoms to make bombs. I know. I don't get it, folks, but
Yeah,
Well,
I
we
really
don't
want
want
to
those
know.
terrorists having any more kids, so we can't give them all birth control and have them all have abortions, but maybe we can give them condoms so they go to reproduce. They can't
you
reproduce
see, we've
anymore.
got it, folks. We don't need bombs. We've tricked them. We'll send them condoms, and then
They'll use them.
they'll
and-
actually use them properly.
They'll never have kids.
That's not gonna happen, folks. So I took it away. I'm not a fool.
Because
That's what they thought, but I don't think that.
the condoms were supposed to be to prevent babies through the wieners, but it was actually prevented by them killing people, and that is not what we were going for. We got to yank the money because they're killing people with condoms instead of just killing the semen.
Unless somebody tells me that there's little pecker guillotines in the condoms.
Chop, chop, chop. Oh, that would
Maybe
be a good
if
one.
they did something like that, maybe that would work. I don't know.
Oh.
Less terrorists.
You know what they could do is put some kind of, oh my god, acid or something on it.
No, he's all like,
Put some kind of acid or
sounds like
something
a robot
on it.
chicken skin of it or something. Oh, look, we got all these condoms from
No, it would be like
you
the,
find out the condoms were made by the Jews.
Yeah. No.
Express circumcision.
Well, yeah, it'd be like
Too far, too
the,
far.
it'd be like the pagers, but in condom size. You stick it on and boom,
Oh,
off it goes. You know.
yeah.
There you go.
Yikes.
Oh.
Woo! Oh, man.
It'll get you warm in the shorts.
What was this one? Department of
Big
Justice has just ended their lawsuit against Virginia for removing illegals from the voter rolls. This now means that all 50 states can now remove illegal immigrants from their voter rolls. Amen.
I thought that was common sense.
So this is where it's like, bruh, if we screw up and we don't get an American first logic truth president or someone that's got big balls that everyone's scared of, it's just going to go back the way it was.
Yeah.
That's where like I'm slightly jaded, where I'm like, bro, we only got like 3 years of this.
Yeah.
And then we're like screwed. And they're gonna go back to like sneakily doing everything.
If you tiptoe around, they're gonna have so much pushback, you just won't get that much done.
So then it
And
makes
like
me-
that's what he tried kind of doing in his first term to set up for a second term, but he didn't make it to the second term because of things, and so now he's got to come in and just start blazing a trail.
So it makes me like the TV says I
But this
am,
time
where I
you can
want
do
a
it.
dictator Trump.
Yes.
I'm like, no, like if it's only 4 years, we won't get like
Dictator is
same voting.
only when you go against ethics and the laws in place. That's really the only thing that
Against the
dictatorship
Constitution,
is.
people, right? Like
Because I mean,
he makes the rules and everybody has to abide by.
well, did we vote to go to war when Bush said we have to go?
No, right, bro?
That was dictator, authoritative type shit, but nobody was complaining back then. One, not everybody thought it wasn't terrorists that did the thing, so that had a part to be played in it.
Absolute authority in any sphere. Yeah, so you'd have to get rid of like the 3 branches or something. He'd have to like be doing a bunch of stuff without the branches, like the executive orders, arguably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Steal
that's why
Andy
he just does
argument.
what he wants. With
A
no
ruler
repercussions.
with total
Yeah.
power over a
And anybody that's
completely-
coming after him, he then prosecutes either
That'd be,
physically or politically.
Okay, typically one is who has obtained control by force.
Putin.
No, they vote.
Yeah, says who?
Just like the Democrats?
Yeah, they're about the same way. And then you know what happens when you get to the opposition? They do the same thing. Send somebody else to take care of
Sudden
it.
death syndrome. I don't know.
Send somebody else to take care of
He
that for
took
me.
COVID backs. I don't know why.
He shot himself in the head miraculously 2 times.
We let him
Why
out
do you
of
think
jail.
Hillary learned how to do this all?
Yeah, I mean, hey, that would definitely been. We know how they are with the projection, so all we can assume is the whole time they were going, Trump's with Russia. Oh, who's pointing the finger? Oh, that means somebody else is with Russia.
And he's over there like, they need to shut the F up. Just
talking
don't
too
put
much.
my name in your mouth.
Yeah,
I told you not to be cocky, woman. Here you are, Hillary.
Quit it.
Talk too much.
So
I wouldn't even be surprised if she didn't delete her emails. He did. He was like, "You gonna get me in trouble, woman." She's like,
Send the good old
"Where'd my
Russian
emails
hackers.
Send Borloff over there to
Yeah.
knock that dish out, bro. So our treasury has never denied a payout. Like that sounds a little bit insanity, right? So like we're spending some sort of like trillions of dollars of tax money, and some of these payouts are going directly to terrorist organizations.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
No.
Side note, I would love some Itaxican food, a combination between Italian and Mexican, figured out by the Wilkinsane. That is a phenomenal idea, and I think if Italy and Mexico join forces, they actually might be the next superpower of the world.
That could be epic.
Because perfect. Think about it. Perfect strategy. How do you win a man's heart over? Any woman knows.
With the best
Through his
food.
stomach.
It's keep stomach full, keep balls empty.
Yes.
And the house clean.
And you got
He's got 3.
you got great food and 2 horny nations.
Yes.
We would be decimated. We would be taken over like that.
We could be murdered.
Like the whole world. I mean, no, it'd just be it'd be a happy world.
They're very heavy
We'd
Catholics too,
we'd
so
be
they don't use
full-
condoms.
We'd be
and they
full
don't do
and
birth
empty.
control.
2 of the best things in the world. To be full and empty at the same time is a conundrum, yet the best thing a man can ask for in this world.
Sounds like utopia. Where can we find this place at?
Right? Yeah, I wasn't about utopia up until now. I'm thinking I could get on board with an Itaxican continent.
Okay.
Oh, man, this is... God damn it.
That got Dan excited.
He got a chubby going on over here, Dan. Oh,
I'm just thinking, dang.
I can't even imagine what the women look like. God bless.
2 great
Yeah,
food. That's what I'm saying. 2 great foods and 2 hot nations. Man. Sheesh. We might have found the CIA, you're not listening into this, because that would be that agent will infiltrate anyone
Nobody is not getting infiltrated by that. They have no
Dan
chance.
smokes,
No chance,
bro.
woman or man.
Dan
You can't
smokes.
stand up to that. Woo!
Yeah, I don't think a woman or
Yo,
a man.
friends, if you see
An
Texican coming at me, oh man, keep an eye on me because I might not be around for much longer after that.
This guy's spilling it the Feifei Texican style.
Yeah, it'd be like the meme with the stick with the cage and the somebody behind the corner with ready to pull the stick out. They got some tacos and some Italian food, and an Italian and a Mexican girl under there. She'd be like, "Oh, look at this."
I just keep feeding him tacos and spaghetti, motherfucker. Like he spilled all the beans.
Yeah, spilled all the beans.
The best is she don't even gotta clean the house. She'll just have her sister do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
or cousins that are illegal.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
So our treasury apparently is allegedly, according to Elon, has never actually turned down a payment. So the payment approval officers at the treasury were instructed always to approve payments, even to known fraudulent or terrorist groups.
Yeah.
So they're literally giving our tax money to known terrorist groups? Like, this is like, it can't be true. This is like, nah, dude, come on, man.
No, that's
Tell me it's not true, bro.
I mean,
That's
the
100%
the
true.
CIA gets their money from multiple sources.
That's insanity, bro.
They give a lot
This
of
is
money.
the treasury?
Yeah.
Like the United States Treasury.
They gave a lot of money to ISIS and all kinds of stuff like
We-
that. And
we
that's why they
created
have
ISIS.
a bunch of and they have a bunch of our weapons and this and that. And then what? Trump just goes and bombs a bunch of them just yesterday or whatever it was.
Again, yeah.
Yeah. As soon as he got in, well, Biden's been chasing you guys, following you guys. He ain't done nothing, so I'm gonna get rid of you. Boom.
Yeah, he even like
Yeah,
rubbed that
so-
in.
yeah.
They've known where they've been for many years. I don't know, they haven't done anything, folks. But now that I'm in, I said, pull the trigger. And
Right, we don't need
took
them
out
anymore.
the caves that they were living in.
Yeah, it's almost like somebody seen it as a waste of money of their investment.
I
Yeah,
know, right, bro? That's what it is.
And on the world stage, as they're coming in, and they don't have any real problem with them, but just out of nowhere, when you're fucking trying to do tariffs when everybody else fighting and arguing about this and that, have you even said anything about ISIS? No, but the general told me there were problems. Just take care of them, general, real quick for me. All right, boom. What's China and Russia gonna think? Damn, we weren't even talking to them, and all of a sudden they bombed them. What can they do to us then? Maybe we should, keep our shit in line. Yeah.
I thought Dan would appreciate this one.
You say, ooh,
garbage truck?
Kind of neck our woods. Chicago again, making national news.
Yeah, man. And what if every Chicago citizen actually just was forced to carry a weapon like we were kind of discussing previously? I think there'd be a lot more bad guys stopped because this garbage man had a concealed carry license somehow. Who knows how he actually was approved? God, thank God.
I bet he doesn't live in the city limits.
Yeah.
And he comes there to work.
Yeah, no shit, right, bro? But this guy apparently, man, he took out these two robbers that were trying to get him, bro.
Who goes around trying to steal shit from the trash, man?
Come on, bro, like,
What are you
only in Chirac, dog.
Hey, it's a well-known fact. Garbage men get paid pretty decent. So they
So
just
what? What are you
figured
gonna
they
steal on
had.
him? His phone and his wallet with what? Most people don't even carry cash these days.
Yeah, they figured he had a brand new iPhone. You know,
Yeah.
being
What,
a
cash is
big
king.
big
I
money
got-
Everybody
garbage
has
man
iPhones
baller.
now. They don't even rob people for phones no more, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's more like they've got so much
It's so
tech,
2010.
in it. It's
I-
dumb
I-
to
I
steal
know what-
one
I know what the
because then
problem
you
was.
get caught up way too easy.
Right.
I know what the problem was. The guys took out the trash and forgot that the guns were in the trash from the killing they did down the street, and they needed the trash bag back out of the truck. They couldn't let the guy run away with their guns and the criminal stuff inside the trash. So
Oh, he's not a regular garbage man, you know. He's working undercover, and he's actually, you know,
somebody else. I don't know what it was.
part of the Giuseppe group, you know. Like,
Batman the garbage man.
Yeah, but I do believe from research that people carrying weapons actually lowers crime. So.
I
That's
can't
100%
wait to hear
proven.
how the left
Big
side.
Democrat cities that have
Right?
the highest
I don't think they'll cover it.
and the high that outlaw pistols and handguns had the highest crime.
Yep.
So that there's a correlation there.
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
not necessarily like Chicago cover it, but if we see in the future, I bet Pritzker or the mayor is going to have something to say on like, see, guns are bad, and they're going to somehow say this needs more gun control.
Flip out of context. All it
guaranteed.
is this man killed a man with gun. Bad.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't say that the guy tried to kill him with a gun.
Yeah, yep. But nobody would have died if the other guy didn't have a gun and just the criminal. Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Well,
sure.
hang on. How was it
that's
some
how
of
it's
those
supposed to
illegals
work.
tried to rob the trash man and they didn't know what the trash man was because they never seen a trash truck before?
Trash
or what?
man was packing heat, dog. Like,
They watched some movie where
lead.
this guy put all the what was it, Den of Thieves? They put all the bundles of cash in the trash truck. So they were like, oh, that's totally what's happening here. He's got bags of money, not trash back there. We're gonna get him.
Oh, here's that Trump post about the ISIS attack.
Oh, yeah, right there.
These killers who we found hiding in caves threatened the United States and our allies. The strikes destroyed the caves they lived in.
And killed many terrorists without in any way harming civilians.
Our military was targeted this ISIS attack plan for 4 years, but Biden is that crooked Biden. His cronies wouldn't act quickly enough to get the job done. I did. And then wrote the message at the end. Here's our message to ISIS. We will find you and we will kill you.
What a gangster.
I was like, bro, I
Yeah.
grew up not liking the America bully military industrial complex. I get a
Hey,
little bit
hey,
older, the way of the world. I'm like, hell yeah,
Hey,
brother.
you're
bad
talk-
guys.
you're
Find
not-
bad guys and hurt them.
That's the military complex of when CIA first infiltrates their government, and then
Right.
we go in to give them diplomacy, and then basically exploit them for their resources.
But when we,
That's what we don't like. But when it's
kill
killing
clearly
terrorists
bad guys,
that harm other innocent people,
and did we get any
heck yeah,
civilian casualties?
right? It's almost unlike Obama's
If you're
administration.
living around them, with them, you're not a civilian.
That's tricky, right?
They probably might have had some family in there, but
that's
you
how
know.
they were with murdering Hamas, like Israel, and that one was tough because they were just
But
like
they had
Israel was like,
Saddam
"Bomb 'em
Hussein
all."
and all their family members living in caves, or that one last guy. He said, "I sick my dogs." He hit it like a dog, but
he died like a dog.
Soleimani, yeah.
Yeah, Somani. But they said he had his son and pushed him in front of him and this and that
Wow.
and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. What a guy.
That's the tricky one for me is when Israel started bombing Hamas and they were killing women and children. The left and the TV was all like, "Oh my gosh, how terrible are they? Blah blah blah. They're just killing women, children." And I'm like, "Yeah, I feel that because I don't want anyone to be murdered, harmed, or stuff." And then I was watching a video, man, and they were like, "Well, the tricky thing about that is if you don't kill him, then that kid gets even more upset that you
somebody
killed the
killed their
dad."
parent,
And
yeah.
then they're in a world where the whole thing is everyone else is bad. Everyone that's not, Muslim is bad. And then they grow up and just become even more of a terrorist. So I was like, oh, that's such a moral, ethical, difficult thing. It's like it's actually better for everybody involved to kill the women and the children. Like, dude, life's complicated, bro. And that's
Well, you know,
messed
that's what
up,
Genghis
dog.
Khan
Like,
used to do. You submit and you become our way, or you die.
murder. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's absolutely bonkers, bro. Life's complicated, dude.
You pass
Yeah.
on to the next life.
That's
And-
crazy.
And we've been trying to give them that's why we're there training. What was it? Is it Al Qaeda that we ended up training? The one the Afghani fighting force actually is on our side fighting the terrorists too.
Yeah,
I
it was
can't remember
Afghanistan
which one it
soldiers.
is.
They're just the Afghanis.
That's what is stupid. I've never heard this. There's no such thing. What do you mean? There's not a good guy thing over there that we've been. What?
Yeah.
I can't even think about it. I ain't never heard that shit. But there's got to be something there.
Right, it was the
I mean,
Afghani army.
Just their army or
No, it was
something.
the Afghani army.
Basically, the terrorism became a problem because they ended up getting more people to join the terrorist regime than actually
Right.
be in the their military or law enforcing services, which
is
was
why we got to make the
mostly
commercials
police.
way better, folks. We
Yeah.
got to make the commercials great again.
Yeah.
Recruiting into the army.
Well,
Did we
yeah,
watch
so-
the new recruitment video yet?
No, I haven't
last
seen
week.
it. I didn't see
I don't
it.
think so.
Let's see if we
I
can
don't
pull that
remember.
up quick, man.
I know recruitment's up really high now.
Yeah, it's skyrocketed.
I do know that. I heard
Yeah.
that they were like, having great numbers at recruiting offices right now.
Yeah, basically they kept all the lists of the
Yes,
people
I think
that
it was
from
in
the
there.
last 4 years, they were like, yeah, I was like thinking about joining, and then they didn't. They're like,
So-
call those people back up, and like it's a very high percentage turnover.
Yeah, I was talking about
where they're
this
like,
last week. I got a buddy who was a recruiter, and he got like up into like processing now or something, but he came over. And I was like, bro, is it like way different? He was like, oh, yeah, bro. I told all the recruiter guys, like, yo, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so that were like on the fence like 2-3 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, call them up immediately. And like almost all of them were like, yeah, I guess, no, I'll join now.
Yes,
Like,
now I will.
All right, watch this.
Purpose. Everyone talks about having a purpose. Become a businessman, make a bunch of money, become a scientist and discover the cure for cancer. Such lofty goals put before us, it's overwhelming. How can you find the path to fulfilling your purpose when you're just struggling day to day? You hear on the news that the cost of living is going up. New families can't afford the American dream of owning their own home. And you look around your hometown and you see everyone's struggling to survive. So what's your purpose and how do you find it? America's on the path to becoming a great nation again. How can you grab on and ride that wave of success? How can you make a difference? How can you find your purpose?
they always have some of the best.
So not as good as I think we could
Well, that's
make
for
it
Marines,
to
not
get
the
like
Army.
young guys in. Sure. Okay, so it's a little bit more specialized or something.
But
Yeah.
this is the important.
We need a generic one that's
Well,
like more
eh,
just like hitting young kids, right? Because I don't know if you noticed. Did you hear what the song sounds a lot like?
You hear on the news that the cost of living is going up.
Oh, kind of like
New families
Interstellar.
can't afford the American dream of owning their own home. And you look around your hometown and you see everyone's struggling to survive.
You're talking about like some Call of Duty background noise.
That's like the Avengers.
Oh, you think it is?
So what's
It
your
is
purpose
kinda like the
and
Avengers
how do you
tone,
find it?
Yeah, it's like the Avengers. But that's what they need to do if I was a marketing guy for trying to get younger people into the military. COD shit, superhero shit. Dude, you want to be like real life superhero COD thing?
Right, right.
Get them in, bro. There's all kinds of recruiters that recruit COD guys.
Oh, yeah,
I
my
think
bad.
last year
Never
that,
called you out,
a
IPR
recruiter
Jungle.
called me, asked me if I was still interested in going to the Army, and if I still went to school at Rock Valley. I said, yeah, like 9 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Said,
I got a life.
I said I'm probably too old to even get into the Army anymore, and probably almost older than you. He said, how old are you? I said, I'm 32. He said, yeah, the cutoff is 26
Right.
or 28 when they recruit. I
Uh-uh.
said, yeah, I'm too old to have you recruit me. Sorry, sir.
You still be militia, but yeah, you can't.
This is
enforce.
this was another cool one. Secretary Pete Hegseth just evicted New York Times, NPR, NBC, and Politico from their Pentagon offices. They had offices there, like interesting. So now we might get one American news network, the New York Post, Breitbart, HuffPost.
So
the
some
like
actually,
not mainstream media, slandered, biased ones.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, man.
Actually, I like that One News media. I used to listen.
Yeah, they're
to
not bad, right?
I got a question. What is some of the news channels you guys listen to? It's a broader one. I like that one. I like NTD News. That one's a good one out of New York, and the owner came from China and was prosecuted by for being a Falun Gong members and stuff like that.
no
So they're big
way.
into going against China and stuff like that.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, anyone interested in some good news, NTD in the Epoch Times, I think it's
Yeah, I
called
know.
too.
They call it Epic Times.
Yeah.
But it's an my
No,
hurts my
it's
brain.
Epoch Times with the same thing.
Roman Belmakov is the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I listen to them almost every day.
So it wouldn't be a week without something to
Greenland ice melt.
To send your climate change believer friend when next time they're trying to argue with you. So this guy, this is why you can't have conversations with people that change their mind, because look how long the explanation is.
Oh my goodness.
So this guy says, "Oh my God, Greenland ice cap is losing around 30 million tons of ice an hour due to climate crisis, 20% more than what scientists originally had thought."
Yeah, that's stupid.
That sounds like a lot, right? 30 million tons an hour?
That's false.
That's crazy.
There's no way it lose that much.
I mean,
Let's just
water
say-
weighs a lot.
Let's just say it's true. Okay? Let's say it's true, okay? So, long story short, if the ice sheet is losing an average of 30 million tons of ice per hour, that works out to 720 million tons of ice per day. So that's a net 262 billion tons per year, right? So 2.9 million billion tons, or 262 billion tons, right? 11,000 years. According to the NASA, for every 360 gigatons of ice loss, the global mean sea level raises about 1 millimeter. So if 262 billion tons of ice is lost per year, that would mean the sea level rises at a rate of 0.73 millimeter, or 0.0 inches a year from loss of Greenland ice alone.
Not gonna affect anybody's lakefront property.
So ignoring
oceanfront property. all
ignoring
clean.
Antarctica, so maybe this is worse with Antarctica. This would cause the global average sea level to rise about a foot every 417 years.
That's called natural Earth rotation and
Cycles?
cycles. But the Sierra Desert used to be a rainforest and a tropic climate, and the Antarctica used to have a tropical rainforest too. It's how the Earth changes its own cycles way before humans or anybody else was here too. And
it was unnatural if it was
10,000
caused by like
years.
a meteor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like unnatural. So now it's trying to get back to its natural habitat.
Yeah. And 10,000 years ago, we had a ice age with certain effects that happens to Earth naturally. And they say that the era we're in now, that the Earth could use a small ice age, because I think it was in the 1800s or something. We had a small one for like 2 years or something like
Like it
that.
dropped
Yeah.
significantly
For a couple years.
Right. We got a few questions in the chat here.
What you got?
From the man Josh, talking about the Chinese is using the Mexico border to bring in fentanyl. So it's not the cartel using the border to weaken us through fentanyl, but the Chinese more than likely don't know the actual details or anything super specific on that.
Or they're paying the cartel.
Right, yeah. However that's
Chinese have it
happening,
make
I'm
it.
sure that's happening in a way. The weather being created by the government with energy weapons for the fires of California, more than likely, especially since just like the fires up north in Canada or wherever it was, you've seen multiple light spots all hit up at the exact same time. So probably also what happened in California, especially since
greenery was not burnt down, but these houses were totally burnt down right next to the trees and all that fun jazz. And blue garbage cans weren't melting, even though they were soft plastic, but they were blue, just kind of like Hawaii.
And disclosure is really tricky for me, bro, because I flip-flop back and forth every few months. I'm like, man, I really like listening to me some Stephen Greer. And then like a couple months later, I'm like, bro, this dude's like controlled opposition too. It's all bullshit, bro. It's all a psyop. And disclosure for us believing that they're actually going to disclose anything about UFO tech, whether it's terrestrial or extraterrestrial. It's all a fugazi, and they're just spinning us tinfoil hatters all in a circle to like keep us busy and distracted or something, man. It's complicated.
Yeah, the
I
government.
long for
I mean, the
disclosure.
government said aliens are basically real. You know, like what was it, a year or two ago now?
Which then I don't believe it. So it must be a distraction.
Right. It's hard. It's like, dang, do we actually? Well, it's like hard to believe because it was during the Biden administration. So yeah, distraction. Or were they like, hey, the people are totally not going to believe us because of our authentication problems already. So let's let it go. And then the people, when the aliens come out, will be like, we told you so. We didn't believe it. Ha.
And so it's really tricky because some deep tinfoil hatters in one camp believe that there is, no leaving the Earth, right? So it couldn't possibly be extraterrestrials, but there is advanced technology, but it's advanced terrestrials. So there's domestic, higher intelligence beings than us that are here, and that's who we're interfacing with to have this advanced technology and stuff like that.
Yeah, not sure about the video with Biden talking about blue roofs. Not too sure on that one. Might have missed that one.
Yeah, I don't know about the Biden and blue roofs one either.
Right.
Well, I did see some stuff about that. Something about like the whatever electrical laser that they used that started the fires in Hawaii, and something about it with the direct power or whatever doesn't affect
The direct
things that
energy
are
weapons can't burn blue
burn through
stuff.
blue stuff. I don't know why that would be.
Right.
Something lightways, man.
Yeah,
but Biden talking
something
about
weird.
himself.
But they
haven't seen
found
that one.
people's
More than likely
lighting
spilled the
fires
beans.
in California. Several different people.
Yeah.
This is that picture I was telling you about that I think the border should have looked like the whole damn time.
So yeah, we getting up there. This is a long one. We'll have to finish it up soon.
Yeah, I gotta go to.
This is definitely what the border should look like.
A whole bunch of people.
I don't even need that exactly that, man. You can space out a little bit, but
Nah, bro. Americans need jobs, bro. Put them all at the border, fam.
It's the
You want a job where you're not doing anything, bro?
it's the visual intimidation. They're like, you don't even want to try. Like we're not even trying because I mean that's probably a smart move because if they were hiding per se and the cartel was dumb enough to not see him and try to cross, and then we get into more firefights with cartel, which there already has been, then we're going to be getting into the territory of possible like declared war against Mexico, this and that. It'll get a little tricky. So we might as well just show, don't even try it, dude. Just don't even fafo. Don't even do it. Kind of like Kamala said, except actually now we're putting balls behind an actual substance behind it instead of don't. What's your message to the people across the border? Don't. Okay, yeah, nobody's scared of that, Kamala. Like, yep, look, everybody going pass by because you said don't. Except y'all had people basically helping them across the river. So
that's a great example.
And now Trump is basically like, don't. Except he said,
you made a whole app
don't.
just to get them over here and everything else. And Trump just shut that shit down too the other day.
It was immediate. It was like the day after he like inaugurated.
Yeah, that app's closed.
A great example of her just saying "don't, bro" is because she's incapable of saying words. So, do you guys remember that CBS interview that was all clipped up, and then Trump sued them because he said like, "Oh, hey, that was edited, right?"
Oh yeah, I
They
didn't know he sued,
100% have released the video, and she's mumbling, stumbling, talking stupid in the answers,
Had a little
bro.
too many Congress wine served to her earlier in the
And they
day.
clearly edited her answers to make her look better, bro.
Oh,
and
yeah, I seen that. And they're going to get sued for it, too.
and he's suing them for like $10 billion, bro.
Trump's suing them because of that shit.
And Melania just won a court case against The View for defamation.
Oh,
as
she
well.
did win that one?
Yeah.
I know she was suing them too for that too.
Yep. I think it said she won.
All the money that he spent fighting all these cases, he's about to win a bunch of it all back.
Right.
This
And
one's,
they're gonna be so salty about it.
This one's a video
drinking
from
them
10
liberal
years
tears.
ago where Obama's DOT secretary says that the flight control hiring is all jacked. Like 10 years ago. So flight controllers have been a problem for a long time, man.
Right. Yep.
Email from John Brennan confirms the 51 intelligence agents signed the infamous letter solely to give Biden
Fired.
the ability to lie to Americans in order to be elected. Did you see this one? It literally says, yeah, so I signed it so they had a talking point in the election or in the debate.
In the debate, yeah.
Absolutely bonkers. So it was very flippant. It wasn't like, yes, I signed it because I think it's a very serious. It was like, yeah, I signed it to give him something to talk about in the election. Like,
no.
Keep in mind that Democrats voted to fine American citizens for not buying insurance and then conspired to give it to illegal aliens for free.
And deny it to flood people and fire victims.
Yeah. God, that's insane. Because he was a communist, bro.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
Was
Updated Bitcoin chart. If you haven't bought the Bitcoin, might be a good idea.
Might be not saying to do anything. This is not financial advice.
Not financial advice. He's saying that there's only going to be 3 red dots and it's going to be pop-off time, bro. Because now we're starting to get these orange dots. We got them here and it kind of cooled off, which that didn't happen before. So, like, interesting. But we got these orange dots and then red dots is the pop-off. So he's thinking we're only going to get like 3 this time and it's going to go to 270K. So next stop looks like 270K, which would be doubling.
That would be nice.
This is Dan Pena, ain't it?
Yeah, that's Dan Pena.
Yeah, bro. So
who's that?
I spoke. So the
He's a billionaire entrepreneur guy. It's famous for like basically he was like before Andrew Tate came around. He's like an old Andrew Tate a little bit.
and he
I'd say.
doesn't have anything like bad
Don't
on
be
his
a
record
pussy.
either.
You gotta just go in there and get it
Like real
done.
tough
like-
talking,
Yeah.
you know. So the uneducated liberal man that I spoke to recently, that was like, you know, very fine people hoax.
Oh
One
my
of his big liberal things was like, oh, Trump is a terrible man and Elon's a terrible man because they have billions of dollars and they don't just give it all away to people. And they don't just like solve all the world's problems by giving away the money. That's way too much money to have. I was like, yeah, but that's easy to say for you because you don't have billions. You have millions of dollars. I don't. So you're a terrible man for not giving that all away. Well, it's like different. Like, no, like billion, bro. You don't understand like how much a billion is. I was like, homie, I'm poor. You have millions. That's unfathomable to me. And you're over here talking shit about the next guy up. So let me guess.
Yeah.
You're a fan of Bernie Sanders. And he was like, yeah, Bernie. And I was like, oh, okay. I can't even have a conversation
goodbye.
with you
Have a good
anymore.
day.
Like, so like, yeah, like just like Bernie was like, oh, it's the billionaires. And then he became a millionaire. And then he was like, it's the billionaires, actually, you know?
Yeah,
So I was like,
I have
oh,
a couple
dude.
$1 million houses. It's okay.
So I thought this was just kind of interesting for this random conversation that I had with an uneducated liberal person recently, because Dan Pena explains the reason why the billionaires can't just go around and solve all the problems.
I love that suit.
We could solve poverty in the entire world with the stroke of a pen. And you know why they don't do that in Africa, Ethiopia, wherever? Because of corruption. So none of the money's going, almost none of the money's going to get down to where it belongs. They have a deal called the CAP 28's coming up, where the wealthy countries get together and say how they're going to spend money for the poor countries. This is CAP 28. Every year they pledge between 100 and 500 million. You know how much money's been given? Zero. And it's because of the C word, corruption. But nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. Everybody knows it, but nobody talks about it. And we've been in Haiti, we've been all kinds of places. At the end of the day, it all comes down to the money getting stolen. How much money can you get to the actual needed?
And it sounds like a cop-out. You could try to argue that shit, but I literally have friends that got kicked out of Haiti for being too helpful. They like no longer can go there because the people were like, nah, man, you can't roll around here no more.
Wow. That's some bullshit.
And it was because they were a little bit more mouthy than some other friends of theirs that I'm also friends with now that still interacted with Haiti, like continuing.
Yeah, I mean that's not surprising at all. Just like when you start getting into business knowledge and you understand how charities work and whatnot, and you start looking into the receipts of where the money goes and seeing what's proved on how much money is actually spent on their organizations.
Like the Biden Foundation.
It gets really like, why would I like charities are kind of just a way to
And the Clinton
Bro,
Foundation.
steal money.
Biden Foundation was
So-
around for like 5 years, and all the money just went to paying salaries.
Right. I mean,
Not one dime went to a
and
charity.
generally, the thing is, what people don't understand, these places are this way because of corruption in their own local entities.
Right.
Like their leaders are that corrupt. So unless we do the thing where we dictator style take them over and then, input our democracy, they're not going to see the money. And so, but we can't play Captain Save-A-Ho for everybody around the world. We got to save ourselves. We want to, but we got to make sure if we're good, and then you got to just go around and chip at them the best way possible.
Dan says we got our balls back. Here's that video of the ISIS bomb.
Yep, just like Trump back in the day when he had that meeting with the terrorists and he pulled out that satellite photo. It was like, hey, I'd be careful if I were you because I know where you live. He's like, hey, so y'all that got blown up, if there's any left of your organization, watch what I did to your people. Look, I'll put it right there so you can watch it happen over and over and over again.
Middle of nowhere.
Yep. Shebang.
That's crazy.
Wow, nice.
Casually posting airstrike clips on terrorists. Oh God, you didn't see that for 4 years, dude.
Nope. Oh, this is. Yeah, this one goes about Doge a little bit and what Doge has been finding. This is really interesting. This is almost ridiculous.
So many important programs for the American people. And if you are on this program, I am so sorry I was wrong about Trump. Here are the 10 programs evil Donald Trump is cutting. For starters, I'm not an expert, but National Bubble Wrap Stress Relief Program, $1.4 million a year. Bureau of Mailbox Feng Shui, $900,000 a year. Federal Balloon Animal Training Academy, $2.3 million a year annually to train clowns how to fold balloons. National Pretzel Twisting Initiative, $600,000 a year. Tells you how to untwist a pretzel. Then we got...
Please tell me this is a joke.
No.
Nope, it ain't.
The Department of Sock Pairing, $1.8 million a year. The Federal High Five Coordination Bureau, $1.2 million a year, annually coordinating high fives between human beings. And number 7, National Ice Cream Structural Integrity Lab, actual ice cream cone. That was $700,000 a year to make sure that they're not leaking ice cream. The Office of Puddle Depth Measurement, $3 million a year annually measuring potholes that have water in them, even though they don't fix them. Number 9, Bureau of Alarm Clock Testing, making sure that your alarms are going to wake you up. That's $1.5 million a year. And 10, Federal Glitter Cleanup Task Force, $2 million a year. But to top it off,
50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money.
Doge is cutting so much.
Dude, that
Sign me up for the puddle measuring because we are Rockford. I'd be taking all that money, measuring all the potholes everywhere.
Yeah, do you get money per puddle?
Probably,
God.
Rockford, we gonna be pothole rich.
Well, it's probably even easier than that. That'd be a merit-based system.
But
You
yeah,
probably just gotta say you measured a bunch of puddles and get paid.
like
You would find plenty of them though.
a high five coordinating
just
class.
do a work at
What?
home
Yeah,
measuring them.
What is that crap?
that's brain dead.
Man.
That's a good thumbnail.
Yeah, sure was.
I'm lazy. I haven't changed the background in a while, but I kind of like it.
I like it too.
It's the AI one that he posted.
No.
Where's the AI gangster Trump with the sign that says FAFO? Oh, that was good. Well, that's all I got, gentlemen.
we
Any
turned
last
it in.
minuters.
Turn it into pumpkins.
All right, have a good night, everybody.
Thank you very much for coming into the Truthercast here, folks. Make sure to hit the thumbs up. If you didn't make a Rumble account yet, just do that. If you pick the Google account thing, you don't even got to make another username password. So make yourself a Rumble account, get an X account, follow us there. I'm at Mastache over on the X, but most definitely go to that truthercast.com and you can get the alt news recommended list so you can build a better news feed. And if not for you, I just want you to help one person start building a better news feed this week. Because if you share this show to just one person, we could double that viewership. So thanks for coming around. If you got a computer, sign up.toleratetech.com in the link description box down below. Go check that stuff out there, folks. And make sure to join us next week for some more antics.
More antics, some more awareness, some more hot topics, and some hot takes.
Hot topic, hot takes, man. Hot diggity dang, man. I think we got a 3, we got a 2, we got a 1.
All right, all right, all right.
All right.
Uh.